Hey everyone, today is Wednesday, the 10th of November, 2021. This is The Gap, episode 591. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here. Joab, we have a returning champion to the podcast.
Look out.
Jeremy Junglist Ray's here. J-Ray, how you going?
Hell yeah.
Oh, pretty good. Good to be back. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, it's raining at the moment, so hopefully it doesn't get too tin roofy sounding when the thing starts pelting down a little bit, because it was like that before. I was worried that it might get a bit
There's no way we can hear that.
Yeah.
No way we can hear it on our end. My problem with the fucking rain is that it's been holding, like, it hasn't broken the humidity. You know how, no, neither of you would know this, but up in fucking Queensland, when it storms, that's it, right? Yeah. You, like, sit there praying for the storm to come to break the humidity, because it just sort of builds and builds and builds in the air until you're, like, literally fucking swimming in air. And then it storms and you're like, fuck yeah, finally. Like, this is it.
But isn't Queensland storm like 3 minutes? Like, it just fucking hammers for 3 minutes and then it just stops. And you're like, all right, cool, done.
Yeah, it's like fucking all of the storm, all condensed into, and then you're like, fuck, perfect. Meanwhile, this shit's been going on for 3 fucking days.
It's been going on for like 6 months.
Oh my God, it's disgusting. I've been sleeping with the fucking aircon on. Because I'm like, I can't do this.
It's been going on for like a year, because if you remember the last summer, we didn't really get a summer. It was just like kind of cold and nasty and rainy throughout the whole time.
I don't know. I was indoors, so
I was time. So
yeah. I don't remember last summer. I don't remember fucking.
I know what you did last summer.
Oh,
did you?
Apparently, the TV show for that is terrible, and
really?
I don't understand what they thought would happen, because the movie wasn't all that good. Like,
first one's alright. Second one's
I think
not very
they just
good.
like they update it to modern times. So like figuring out what someone did last summer is like checking their Instagram from like a year ago.
Yeah. I was going to say Facebook and out myself as a boomer. Anyway, speaking of TV shows, I've been watching Arcane, which is the LOL Netflix anime. Not very funny so far. I haven't lolled much, but it is pretty good. It's surprisingly good.
I've seen the animation on this thing. It looks really good.
Yeah, the animation's fucking out of this world.
Okay.
Shit's all over Dota, which it turns out it wasn't me being hungover that made me want to vomit while watching Dragon's Blood. It was the animation. It's just this weird choppy effect in the animation or something. I don't know. It just makes me want to fucking spew.
Right.
Like I've been playing VR for 6 hours or something. But no, Arcane. Yeah, I thought it was like first half of the first episode, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about. I don't know who any of these people are, and I don't give a fuck about any.
Where's the auto chess segment?
Right? Chop. Where's the fucking? Why aren't they laid out on hexagons?
They should make a cookie clicker anime, and then you'd be right into it.
Fuck yeah, I would be. I'd be well into it. Do you know? I saw Cam Shea, the AU editor for IGN, playing cookie clicker the other day.
Oh, yeah.
He's all the way in. I reckon it's Luke's fault.
Why is it my fault? Did I talk to him about it?
Fucking dork. Yeah, you talked about him about it. So yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I think it's worth checking out. I mean, it's the animation alone makes it worth giving it a squiz, but the story like picks up after the first half of the first ep and starts to get really interesting, and the ride at the end of the first ep is really interesting. I just haven't had time to fucking watch any more of it, because we are in the midst of Hell Week.
Yeah.
So we might blast straight past that. I just wanted to call it out. And move.
Have you guys
straight
seen
on.
the Castlevania anime as well?
Yeah, fuck yeah. No,
Just
Castlevania.
speaking of good animes based on games, yeah.
That's the best one in my opinion so far.
Those fight scenes in the final season, so good.
They're doing another season, right?
I think that's it.
Really? I thought they were doing one more.
I mean, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I mean, the last one was pretty.
It's wrapped up, but like they could do the classic time jump type thing, right?
Oh yeah, true.
No, that anime fucking rules. Yeah, that's definitely the gold standard in my opinion.
I've gone back to those episodes like 5 times just to watch the fight scenes. You know, when you're like scrolling on Netflix and you don't know what to watch. And I'm like, I just want to watch those fight scenes again and do that and then go back to work.
Now you can just, you can actually just type in Pornhub.com on your phone or whatever if you want. Like, you don't have to scroll on Netflix.
for
and find
Castlevania
stuff
porn.
worth. Yeah, like any kind of porn actually, John. There's loads of porn on Pornhub.
What's the rule? What's the internet rule again?
Rule 34.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
Camilla.
anyway, video games. What's first on the list, Luke?
Hell Week. Let's talk about Hell Week quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's tease a few things. It is Hell Week. We've got Call of Duty Vanguard coming up, Elden Ring, and Battlefield 2042. So
I've been talking to the team making Call of Duty Vanguard.
Yeah.
I've been playing the fuck out of Elden Ring, playing as much Battlefield 2042 as they will make me.
As they will let you.
As they will make me. As they will force me to.
So we'll get to those a bit later, but we'll go through a couple of... Jung's got like 3 years of content to catch up on. So what have you been playing, Jung?
Oh, God.
We got Chivalry II.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have played it.
Not since the latest update. They did a new update, right?
I haven't played the latest update either. I haven't had time. But I've played a decent amount of the game.
We've been fucking boomed.
Yeah. The new update looks good. I still don't think like the last 2 updates have had features for like competitive stuff. It's still not going to be competitive because they've got like their 3v3 arena thing. But if you actually play it, like sometimes it doesn't even match you up with the people in your party. Like, I mean, you'll join as a party of 3 and then you'll have like one of your party members on the other team. So it's like, it's not at all like a esports thing. But it's just good fun. Yeah, I love Chivalry. It's like the taunts. I think some of the comedy has gone out of it. Like some of the verbal taunts are a little bit too high production value now. I kind of liked it from Chivalry 1 where it was just like, no, my lord, yes, my lord, come hither. But now they've got these really, really awkward voices. These really exaggerated voice acting. But the crunchiness is still there of like when someone crunches you with a fucking maul. And the sieges of cities are really, really fun. I love jumping on a ballista, getting a twofer. Yeah, fun game. I never played
Things
more.
we talked about when it first came out was how they just failed to incentivize like actual team play. Like they just didn't really do anything to make your team actually play the objective. Like it was a frustrating experience being on the side of that was filled with people who just wanted to go fucking team deathmatch somewhere because all you do is watch them fucking run away from the giant tower they're supposed to be stopping to go fight in the middle of fucking no man's land.
Yeah.
Like, have they done anything about that over time, or is that?
I think it's the same. I think it's just like it comes down to if you care about points. Like I've had matches where, because you get points if you're on the objective, just like a steady trickle. So I've had matches where, like I'm winning in points, but I have far fewer kills. But
so I'm the king every time you get to be the king.
Yeah.
You just focus on the objective and Shit king. People like bring up the fucking scoreboard and then like, he's only got fucking 15 kills. Shit king. Oh shit, let go. Oh, we've lost already. Oh, he's shit king.
I love it when the map doesn't even have a king and people just go shit king.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I mean, I guess if your team doesn't care about points, then you're just fucking screwed. And
that's a shame. Because it'd be so easy to manage that shit, right? Because like, it gives you points, but not enough to make it like noticeable. It doesn't promote how you are playing the game correctly. And what people don't understand.
Like Joab's planting seeds here for later on.
What it doesn't seem to understand is that like people like what the team deathmatches don't understand. Team deathmatch players don't understand is that if they can still have their team deathmatch experience on the objective, right? But they're not fucking led. They need to be led by the nose to be on the objective. And so it needs to be really fucking obvious that that's where you'll get the most out of having your fucking fights. And by failing to really fucking flag that shit, it just doesn't do a good job of dragging like other people, idiots, basically, to do to the right thing. You know,
you've got idiots, and then you've got people who, like the other side of the spectrum, who played a shitload of Chivalry 1
Mm.
and are so fucking good. They can take on like 1v4,
Yep.
like legitimately just, dodging, backstepping, doing wide sweeps, countering, jabbing at the right time to interrupt your attack. Like there's some people who are just like invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play Mordhau much?
No, I never played Mordhau. I heard it was good.
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It had a good map design too. I think the problem I had with Chivalry 2 was that a lot of the maps felt pretty like linear in terms of getting from point A to B to C to D, and like Mordhau is a little bit more like branched off a bit. You can
It's
kind of
the lane thing, right? Like Chivalry does the 3-lane philosophy, whereas Mordhau did the sort of honeycomb thing.
Okay.
And I think honeycomb map design is way more interesting, and lanes just result in fucking campers hiding behind tiny corners or sitting up the back with a fucking ballista / longbow.
Yeah, totally.
Cowardly archers.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a lot of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I managed to get a couple of non-gaming friends, or like friends who like I used to play games with in high school. Like I got into this weird thing with a couple of mates from high school where like all they wanted to do, like they wanted to meet up and catch up a lot and play games, but they only wanted to play the games we used to play in high school, which is mostly Counter-Strike. Yeah, for us it was Counter-Strike. But they kept on having this thing where like they expected to just jump back in the game and own again, and like be back in that day when in high school when we were just like owning the server, but it just wasn't happening and we were losing every game. And I could see that they were expecting to have this like nostalgic glory moment, like recapturing the old glory days, but it kept on being unfulfilling. Mm-hmm. And I kept on trying to drag them into the new era, like of like like let's learn some of the call outs of the maps and let's learn some of the flashbangs that we can throw over the walls so that we're not just dry peeking everything. They weren't too keen on it. Like even things like knowing upper dark and lower dark on Dust 2, or even just like throwing the flash over long A at Dust 2. That was like, I was like, yeah, everybody knows this now. So like, if you don't know it, like you're not even silver level. But I was able to get them into Chivalry, and then we were all sort of able to start at a baseline.
Have you got call outs for Chivalry, or
no?
You got your fucking firebomb over the wall, pixel perfect fucking aim.
No, I haven't.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
I just
when it goes competitive, you will
rush them with a maul and press Q and fucking win.
Hey, I have a question. How come medieval games always wind up filled with Nazis? What's the deal there? Have you noticed that?
No.
They always like the chat always winds up being full of Nazis, and you never noticed a bunch of, like in Chivalry 2 especially, you'd either have guys who would make a character who was black and then suicide. And they'd tell people they was doing that in the chat because they're like heinous reasoning, but Africans couldn't live in Europe in these times is what they
wasted time doing that.
Or because I made a black dude, they would target me. They'd be like,
specifically target you. Wow.
I'm going to find Joby and kill him because he's a N-word. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this shit? And then they type in their Opus Dei shit, and then you go on the fucking forums and whatnot, and you're like, it's just filled with fucking neo-Nazis. It's pretty weird how they all gravitate towards fucking
weird
medieval games. It was the same Mordhau, same as Chivalry 1. I think it was worse than Chivalry 1.
I'll be honest, I don't look at the chat most of the time.
That's probably fair. That's probably a smart plan.
I noticed a couple people using the N-word, but yeah, most of the time I'm just on voice chat with my high school buddies.
Yeah.
And we're just like, going ham.
Very smart.
I would probably disable it. Sometimes in Counter-Strike, I disable the chat.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point? Especially
in Rainbow
3:30 p.m.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
3:30 p.m. is the time.
In Siege now, you have to turn on all chat. You have to, like, it's off by default.
Yeah.
You've only got team chat, which is still bad enough. But like, I don't hate it. I was like, oh, I got to be able to tell people good game, and then I turned it back on, and like some dude had also turned it on, and I'm like, GG, and he's like, what the fuck do you know, motherfucker? I'm like, I'll turn it back off.
Have a nice day. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool. All right. Well, that's Chivalry 2. You can play that now. It's out on Steam.
There's a new mode. We don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Epic.
It
might be on Steam. Is it finally on Steam?
I think it's just
no.
Epic.
It wouldn't have expired. Be like a minimum of a year at least.
Yeah.
But you've also been playing Age of Darkness.
Yes, and that one is on Steam, and that one doesn't have any other people, so they can't tell me how promiscuous my mother was.
Right.
And it's sort of like, well, it's basically They Are Billions. If anyone's played that. So I've written back at Fandom, actually, I was writing about this like rise of the winnable city builder, or like the winnable RTS / city builder. And so this one is kind of like, it's that same thing. Like, you know, it's like Frostpunk. It's They Are Billions. There was a Conan game that had this as well. There's been a couple others. So this is like very, very close to They Are Billions, where like you're given very few resources. You have to build a city. You start in the center of a map. There's tons and tons and tons of enemies all over the map, and you have to slowly clear the map while building your city and finding resource-rich deposits like towards the edge of the map. And periodically, big waves of enemies are going to come at you and wreck your shit. And in They Are Billions, this is zombies. And in this game, Age of Darkness, it's nightmares. And I don't know, they're like demon crawly things, but the gameplay difference between the two is in They Are Billions, if your zombies get all up in your houses and shit, for every building they destroy, more zombies spawn out of that building. So it can quickly get out of control. So like if one zombie that you haven't noticed finds its way into your housing, kills one house, like the zombies grow exponentially inside your base. So this doesn't have that. This is just like if they get in your base, it's the same number of nightmares that keep on destroying stuff. So it's a bit more manageable. But there are a couple of other things that make it harder. One of them, which I kind of disagree with, and I was watching a dev Q&A session, and they said that they had some internal arguments about this, but it doesn't tell you the path that the enemies are going to come from.
Right.
And it tells you like where they're going to spawn. It like shows you the spawn point on the map, but the maps are so like, you know, there's forests, there's mountains and stuff. There's other obstacles. So it's when you're watching the big horde, like it shows you a big red icon on the mini map as the horde approaches your base. And sometimes it's like it's even juking you, like it'll like fake right, but it's actually going left. Or, you know, it'll fake like it's going to come from the bottom, and it actually like loop around to the right side of your base. And so in this type of game, you need to like it tells you before the big horde is coming, and you need to build all of your defenses in that direction to prepare. And you just can't like really divide your defenses between a couple of different entries. And that's kind of what it's asking you to do. It's like, you know, we're not going to tell you where they're coming from. Build your defenses everywhere, but there's just like not enough. So I think it's perfectly okay in this type of game to save scum and just go like, okay, well, you didn't like the spawn point was at the bottom of the screen. I built defenses on the bottom of my base, and then you looped around to the right side of my base. I'm going to save scum and go back and build defenses on the right side of my base, because I feel like this is how the game should be played. I don't know. I think the dev team is still mulling that one over.
Yeah, because it's in early access, right? So it's possible that changes at some point.
Yeah, I think some of the dev team even wanted it to be harder and like not even show some stuff, like not even show where it's coming from.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like at all from the outset.
Like not even show the spawn point and like the horde icon and stuff.
Jeez.
So then you'd have to like build on like 4 entryways. And like I've gotten to a stage where I think I'm pretty good. Like I've beaten it on hard comfortably. You know, I'm at the stage where I could like beat it on hard while adding some of the additional things that make it harder.
Modifiers.
So I'm not like bad at the game, and I feel like it's too much to ask players to build on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But other than that, it's super fun, super addictive. It has the same addictive quality as They Are Billions. It takes a long time to play. So, you know, I had mates that have kids and they wanted to get into it. And I had to just tell them, like, look, get a 7-hour stretch or you're not going to be able to do much in this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it should be like a 4-hour game, even without the pausing. And you should be pausing a lot, like to micro and stuff. Pause to micro during the battles. Pause to build buildings while there's a battle happening elsewhere. And then, yeah, you just like slowly clear out the map. It's kind of interesting the way the city building works, because the farms take up a certain amount of space, but it's the tiles in a circle around the farms that they exploit for food. And then you need food to build housing for people. And then you need housing for like soldiers and to man ballistas and stuff like that. So it's like food is kind of the source of all that. And food is just tied to the amount of space that you can take. So you can kind of judge a city's strength by how much space they've taken throughout the entire map. And if you were to build something right next to a farm, those tiles that you built on can no longer be used by that farm. So you need to have like lots of clear space that the farms are like, you know, dotted within that clear space, exploiting all of that clear land for farming. So like if someone's taken up half the map with farms, you know, they're doing pretty good. So I thought that was pretty interesting how it's like, I mean, you know, the first couple of games you play, you just try to play it like a normal city builder and you're not really taking much space. You're just like cramming everything into your tiny city, trying to fend off the waves. It's not going to work. You have to build lots of troops. You have to build an expeditionary force, take large sections of the map, exploit it, fight off a wave, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, right. I've been playing a little not Age of Billions. They Are Billions. Not loads. I was just really put off by the fucking like everything around the game. Because I think last week I said to myself, basically, what I really need is not Age of Empires, is basically something like They Are Billions, right? Where I'm basically just making my pretty city, and occasionally I need the stakes, I need the fucking something to be present to create a threat, to make building city slightly different each time. And so I decided to give They Are Billions a try, because I know Luke's played it before ages and ages ago, and he recommended it. I just don't like the fucking, like the voice lines and shit. What the fuck is going on? Who are, like, A, they sound awful. They sound like they were fucking performed on my fucking mic. And B, like, they're just, like, the lines are just so dumb. And there's only about 5 of them. So every time you click on these fucking cunts, you hear them fucking say it again. You're like, oh my fucking God, am I really going to hear this?
Yeah.
Over and over?
The main difference between the two, like They Are Billions and Age of Darkness, is Age of Darkness has a hero. So if you can imagine clicking on all those soldiers in They Are Billions, but the obviously the person you click on the most in Age of Darkness is the hero. Yeah. And you're giving, so like you hear those lines a lot. Like, I walk towards darkness, like you hear over and over.
But are they like cringe-tastic and poorly performed? Because that's the problem I have with that. Like, because I don't have a problem with like the repeat lines. They sort of worm their way into your head. So they're fucking 2.5 decades later, you're going work. And, like,
that's
for
right.
No reason at all.
Yeah, I still do the Age of Empires ones. They're not bad in Age of Darkness. Yeah, they're not bad.
And it's an Aussie studio, right?
Yeah, Aussie made,
which is cool.
So Big Man Serrals, Big Man Walker. I'm getting the two Kotaku editors confused.
Yeah,
Walker was Walker was, he put me onto it. He was writing about it on Kotaku and he got me a code, and then it got to that stage where Like I think he probably had the same thing. Like Walker was like he got addicted to it, and then you get to a stage where you just have to write about it because you're spending so much time on it. And like then I had the same thing. I was like, oh, I got addicted to this. I just played this for 7 hours. Now I have to write about it.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's always the concern with that's the good thing about having a podcast where you can just fucking chuck it on. But I haven't even reached 7 hours with fucking They Are Billions. Maybe I'll switch it up and go for Age of Darkness instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give it a go. Yeah, it's been years since I dipped into They Are Billions. Yeah, I mean just save scum. Honestly, that's my main tip. Pause a lot and save scum because you know I think like the fate of your city should never come down to a coin flip.
Yeah.
So just get around that.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
And pause a lot.
Yeah. Pausing,
Nice.
it's not cheating. It's how the game's meant to be played. Just pause during battle to micro. If you're microing on the one front and you need to do some city building stuff, just pause, do the city building stuff, go back. Like I kept on trying to play it like it's Age of Empires, and it's the wrong way to play it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Speaking of Age of Empires, Age of Empires 4 is out. Job's talked about it before. I played a little bit of it now during Hell Week. Not a whole. I haven't played a whole lot. Maybe just a couple of missions in the campaign. You were talking recently, Joab, how like it does this like full motion video sort of introduction to the campaigns, and I think they're done really well. Of like this,
How cool are they?
like you're
Best
doing,
part of the campaign, in my opinion.
yeah, you're doing like they're showing you like, hey, here's the Battle of Hastings, and here's when it happened, and here's what it looks like now. There's these old like castles, and there's these green lush fields with flowers and trees, and they sort of like overlay like penciled armies into the scene, and then eventually, you know, they're talking about like basically like a history rundown of what's happened, and it goes for a couple of minutes of like, here's how it started, here's what's happening, you know, here's what things look like, and then eventually it chucks you into the game and you sort of play out that scenario. I think
Like
it's
those
just done
fucking
really well.
what were those Encarta? It's like the videos in Encarta encyclopedia back in the day. Like
Yeah.
you'd be like, fuck yeah, I am actively learning now. Thank you, computers. I didn't absorb anything that was in a dumb book. But now I'm in. Like they could definitely make a new Encarta and use this as the start off point for sure.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I actually haven't even like dipped into that yet, but they look really interesting. Like I saw the one because in one of the preview streams they did the one on the trebuchet, and that looks super duper interesting. But every time I jump in, I just want to play multiplayer, so I haven't even checked out the campaign yet.
I honestly think the game part of the campaign is not good. I did not like it because I just want to play skirmishes when I'm playing. But I don't even want to play multiplayer. I just want to comp stomp. But yeah, and I didn't think the fucking game part of it was good. But I legit kept playing because of those fucking videos. They're so good. They're so interesting. Fuck me.
It's so much better than putting like a loading screen or like a wall of text on the side of the screen that says like, here's what happened, and it's like 5 paragraphs and like I'm not reading that. Oh, thank you.
Although I don't know if you noticed or if it's still doing it at this point, because it shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been doing it at any point. But it's not loading the next level while the video is playing. I don't know if it's doing that for you.
Oh, weird. Can you skip it?
It doesn't take that long, and you can skip it, which makes it better than Forza Horizon 5 immediately.
And then it goes, "Oh, we were just loading the video, not the game."
We just. Well, I think the videos might be the bulk of the fucking. Because the game's like 100 fucking gigs or some shit. It might be mostly just fucking high def videos. Like
they're 4K videos apparently. Some of them.
Wow.
Fucking hell. And there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
Well, I'm loving the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but I love this game. I love it.
You going full pro yet or what?
Nah, I just haven't had the time. I really wanted to. Like I was like before this game came out, I was like fully gung ho. I was like, this is going to be my main game for the next year. I'd already played the early sessions. Like in my head, I was like, okay, we've confirmed this is not a dud. We've confirmed this is a real Age of Empires. I'm all for it. And then I got this new job, and so now I've only had time to like dip into a multiplayer game. Like I really want to know all the build orders. I want to know what counters what. I want to be able to scout an enemy, see what he's building, and then go, okay, he's going for this. That means I need to transition into this. But yeah, I've had nowhere near enough time to study all that. So instead, like I don't even know any build orders. Like I just wing it. Chinese is my main. They're like one of the weaker ones, and I don't care. I just like it. I just think it's neat. Yeah, they're weaker. At
what
the
about
moment,
the Nest of Bees?
Nest of Bees is amazing. Yeah, it's Nest of Bees is very good. That's like their one good unique unit.
Yeah.
They've got a bunch of other unique units that haven't really found their place. Like even the Fire Lancers, not really.
Yeah.
The archers that fire multiple arrows, not really. Even the Palace Guard is like a worse version of the Men at Arms because it doesn't have a shield and it has less pierce armor.
Yeah.
So it's like you would much rather have a Men at Arms, and you only get it in the Castle Age. So like other races are like pumping out knights and Men at Arms in the Feudal Age. So by far the OP one at the moment is French.
Right.
French get like basically, especially on water maps, French get a Castle Age ship in the Feudal Age.
Yep.
They also get knights in the Feudal Age, and they get wicked crossbows, and they get awesome siege. If you go to the late game, they get the royal siege weapons, and they get like their landmarks are good too. So they're by far OP. The meta pick to counter that at the moment is Abbasid Dynasty because they got camels. So you guaranteed the French are going to go knights, and then you can try and counter it with camels and other knights. The camels by themselves won't counter the knights. Because the knights have just such good stats. But you need to like mix knights and camels and spears and stuff like that. One camel will give like any nearby knight the debuff. So you could even just have like one camel and a bunch of spears or something. But yeah, and then it goes down from there, and like towards the bottom is Chinese. But I just like the Chinese. So I like their siege weapons, and yeah. But I love it.
Have you tried packing up your landmark as a Mongol and then like hiding it in a corner of the base where nobody can find it?
No,
I have a theory that it might be a very strong strategy.
Troll strat. I just hide it in the corner. Have you seen the Mongol town center rush?
No.
They just park the town center next to the enemy town center, and like in between their wood line and their town center, and they just like shoot all the villagers. It's
that's amazing.
Extremely annoying. I think they're gonna patch that out because apparently it's like one of the most boring things to play against. Like it's just super annoying. But I love when RTS is in its early stage like this, and we're seeing all the interesting strategies come out. Like obviously that's an annoying one, but I love people coming out with they'll write an article on Reddit and I made a Chinese fast castle in 7 minutes that can pump out 4 knights by this time, and you can use those for raiding and blah blah blah. Yeah, I love and then figuring out what counters what. I love this early phase, and like I think Age of Empires 4 like has the depth and has the quality to support all those like strategies and counter strategies. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll probably try like Abbasid and Delhi and Chinese have like really high learning curves.
Yeah.
But I wanna learn them because I love the asymmetry between the factions.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing about Age of Empires, because it feels like, I wrote about it in my review, it feels like not only are you like you learn something by playing a new faction, and then that learning feeds into, and like when you go to another faction, that learning feeds into even like the asymmetry is so fucking diverse. I mean, obviously French and English are pretty fucking similar, but like it's so diverse that like each one just sort of fucking spreads in this really interesting way. So even when you haven't learned anything particularly big in that last game, when you go into the next one, it will have fed into so much more learning again, and it just feels really fucking good. If like there's a real satisfaction about it, and I'm not even playing fucking multiplayer. I'm just playing fucking comp stomping. So like, I'm not even learning against real people.
Yeah.
Like, this is just basic, very basic strat shit. Like
Yeah.
almost just me shit. Like
Yeah.
nothing meta about it. Which is cool.
I like that. Like say for example, you do like back in Age of Empires 2, it didn't take very long in the grand scheme of things for the build order to be solved, right?
Yeah.
Like within some, you could say like a year or a couple of years, we had roughly settled on the right thing to do in the first 12 minutes of the game. That's just not the case in Age of Empires 4. You can't like, there's going to be like every civilization really is like capable of rushing or booming or turtling. Even the Mongols have a strong boom. And like you can't port that build order over to a different civilization. You have to figure out like a whole new way of doing it, a whole new way of getting the influence bonuses from the base building. So I like that. I like that it's going to take a longer period to quote unquote solve Age of Empires 4. And I also like that going through the motions of all that is going to happen. Like it's going to take longer to solve, but the individual games are quicker because like everything is faster in Age of Empires 4, which I think is great.
Yeah.
It's the gather rates are about double speed. Like the building times, you start with more villagers. Like there are lots and lots of things in the game to basically like have the time that a game takes, because I think that's great. Because in Age of Empires 2, as much as I love it, like I've played a lot of Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition in recent times, and I get like it's the GOAT and I love it, but you also sit on your hands for like a large portion of the first part of the game, and you just kind of think to yourself like, probably this whole section doesn't need to be here. I think that's something StarCraft did, like StarCraft 2 did, like, around the release of the Legacy of the Void. They fixed up their early game in a way that just kind of like got rid of the redundancies, and they were like, does all of this need to be here, or can we cut the fat a little bit? I think that was the right move. It's the right move in AoE 4. I think RTS is going to be continuing on that path. Like, yeah, to me, it's like a similar thing as what like Dive Kick did and Fantasy Strike did, and fighting games were like, you cut the fat because it doesn't need, like, if you can have an experience with the same level of mind games, the same level of competitiveness, but it takes half the time, then absolutely do that, right? It's the right choice.
Well, see, I guess the only problem there is because you wrote about this on Kotaku, right? The only problem there is like those games didn't see great commercial success, and so you got to fucking wonder if a company like Microsoft would ever allow that sort of thing, like how burdened they are by the expectations of large scale success. On the other hand, right? Sorry, like this whole thing, right? Because I was thinking about it ever since I read your piece. The flip side of it is that the Game Pass model may actually allow them to abandon that our primitive fucking notions of success, because those sales expectations may no longer be as heavy duty. Like there are, or like Game Pass, the Game Pass subscription model has both negative and positive implications for the future. But I do think that might be one. Like maybe they can divorce themselves from a system that is tied to sales numbers, MPD numbers, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And instead do something really experimental and bold. Because I wonder if Dive Kick would have been a lot better off if it had just been anyone can play it at any time, Yeah,
I see what you're saying. And Dive Kick, like it had the depth, like it was played at fighting game competitions and stuff, like even the big ones, and it was well received among the competitive community. But yeah, I think with a little bit more stylization and stuff, it could have been more of a commercial success. But the expectations that you're talking about, they are important to keep in mind because like I think the expectations are probably the reason there's water maps in Age of Empires 4, despite so many people not liking water maps. It's just like
I fucking hate them. Oh
yeah,
my god.
I think most of the community does, but it was just like expected that it was going to be in there. And if you venture too far away from the expectation, then you get situations like Command and Conquer 4 where people are arguing like, hey, maybe this would have been okay not as a Command and Conquer game,
Yeah.
but because you made it a Command and Conquer, and same with like Dawn of War 3 as well, like, hey, maybe this shouldn't have been a MOBA. Like maybe if you made a separate game, this could have been that, but
Maybe Battlefield should have classes and
yeah.
Oh no, we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah, like yeah, no, that's very true. Like there is certainly pillars of games. I don't know what fucking water maps is a pillar of fucking Age of Empires, but yeah, like there are certainly pillars of these games that have to be adhered to be recognized or qualify as a game.
I think AoE 4 does a good job though of like recognizing those pillars and like still cutting down on the amount of time it takes to play a game while keeping like the essence of the game. Yeah. Like you can still make strategic decisions around like your food sources in the early game. One of the interesting things they did was get rid of house walling.
Right, because you can just sort of fucking
like
pass directly through, right?
Yeah, because my whole thing is about like we should increase the amount of strategic choices made in the early game.
Yeah.
And house walling for me was always like one of the very few strategic things you can do in the first 5 minutes. But
I guess it doesn't really like the problem with house walling is that it would indirectly punish or maybe actually directly punish the factions that require like the Chinese, right? They wouldn't necessarily work very well with it. No, is it the Chinese? Who has that big fucking circle and you got to build everything within the fucking circle so that you get more gold? Who's that? It's one of them, isn't it?
Oh, Chinese have the whatchamacallit,
that learning center or whatever it is. No, that's Abbasid.
I think you might be thinking of a different one, yeah, but yeah.
Or is Abbasid's the one where you got to link them all together? So they'd be indirectly benefited by a house wall, right? Whereas like others, I swear there's one of them where you're supposed to fucking build it all within Delhi Sultanate, right? They've got the House of Learning and everything you fucking do is like built around that, right? I don't know. One of them. Yeah. One of them definitely has this, right? I feel like it was a decision made because it changes the asymmetry of the faction or the asymmetry of the factions and the way that they like have economic gains is changed because of how you lay out your bases, which is one of my favorite things about learning each new civilization. So it's worked for me,
and you can still kind of do it like you can have houses next to each other, but there's like little laneways now in between them. And I've seen players successfully plug those holes with spearmen and really frustrate an army of knights with like just a few spearmen. So that can still be done, but I guess the game wanted like walls to be walls. Like it's more common to actually build long stretches of walls in this game.
There was a tendency to just not build walls, right? Like when you you
would just use your buildings as walls.
It did sort of defeat the purpose of having walls at all.
Yeah, I like building walls now. I'm like, I plan to have enough stone in the either the feudal or castle age now. Like I do a pretty strong turtle, I reckon, with the Chinese, even though I'm just winging it. I try to like build walls in the feudal, block off some key points, build a second town center, get into the Song dynasty, and then get the increased rate for pumping out villagers out of 2 TCs. And then I go for like a semi-turtle, semi-boom kind of thing. Survive until late castle or imperial, and then just like overwhelm them with all my business.
Yeah. Nice. I hate that you can't fucking hold on to the last dynasty's fucking benefits unless you build that fucking
the Spirit Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's silly.
Because
you want to build those villages, like the Song Dynasty's villages. Like,
I just fucking forget. I'm like, hang on, that's not fucking supposed to happen. Ah, for fuck's sake. God damn it.
I was angry about not being able to build the crossbowmen anymore, those like repeater crossbowmen, but then I worked out that they're shit.
So
and so it was okay.
Yeah.
Are there either map editing tools like to be able to create like big game hunters style like maps where there's just a gold mine that is everlasting type thing?
Yeah. I'm not sure about everlasting. You could probably just like put 9999999 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's definitely like some mod tools, so we'll be expecting to see some crazy business. I don't know if you've ever seen Forest Nothing. Those Forest Nothing maps, it's ridiculous. I had to try it as soon as I saw it, but like if you look up streams of people playing Forest Nothing maps in Age of Empires 2 DE, the whole map is just full of trees. That's it. It's just chock full of trees, and you got to cut your way out to have enough room to like build farms and stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's gold.
Yeah,
it's like a 4-hour game, but yeah.
Yeah, you got lots of wood though. All right, cool. Well, let's move on here. We've got a ton to talk about. There's Age of Empires 4. It's out on Game Pass, or you can buy it, but get Game Pass. We get paid $1 every time we mention Game Pass on here now from Microsoft.
We do. Mentioning Game Pass. We get $1 from Game Pass. Game Pass dollar, you might say.
We haven't mentioned this yet. People won't really appreciate it, but we're going in order in terms of numbers right now. We've done Chivalry 2, we've done Age of Empires 4, and the next game we're going to talk about is Forza Horizon 5, which we played a little bit last week. We got it a couple of days before embargo.
One day before embargo.
Yeah. And I think that both of us pretty much on the same sort of page where we weren't necessarily enjoying what it had to offer.
Yeah.
I've had a bit more time to play it, and I'm still sort of on that page. Like, I'm just not having... I need a challenge in there, I feel like. The idea of just giving you all of these cars off the bat and really just taking whatever car that you want into any race, I'm just not finding that very interesting at this point. And I understand that some people enjoy that, and this game is probably catered more towards them. But for me, I want some sort of sense of progression in the game, as opposed to just literally spinning a wheel and getting like a random car, where the game like gives you off the bat a $160,000 car, and then you spin the wheel, and next you get a $1.5 million car, and then the third spin will be Ford Focus, and you're like, all right, cool. What am I gonna do with that?
What was really bad about the wheel spin system, and like I've come to quite enjoy Forza Horizon 5, spending some more time with it, but I still hate the wheel spin system. And what was really telling to me was when I spun it and it rotated and it tick, 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 and it was between like a fucking Lambo, like a really nice looking Lambo, and 40,000 credits. And in my gut, I'm like, please land on 40,000 credits. Because with 40,000 credits, I can do something interesting. Whereas with the Lambo, I've already got like a fucking McLaren blah-de-blah and like a fucking Pagani, whatever the fuck. So like, I didn't care. I'm like, I'm not here for car collection or that. I'm here to do interesting things with interesting cars. Yeah. And so I want $40,000 instead of your $500,000 hypercar, which, probably even more, like $2 million fucking hypercar. Like, yeah, it was just a really telling moment in how bad I think the wheel spin system is to me, because it just doesn't work if you're not engaged in that system. And I mean, all three of us are pretty attuned to how exploitative that particular style of motivation can be. But
definitely.
It's very hard to ignore once you know it's happening. But even still, like from a gameplay perspective, like you're saying, like I don't know how it can incentivize a player from a progression point. You know, like it just doesn't make me feel like I've earned whatever it is I got out of the wheel spin. And so leveling up and getting a new wheel spin means fucking nothing to me, except for hopefully I get 40,000 credits so I can spend it on something cool.
Sounds like a sort of classic example of extrinsic reward reducing the intrinsic reward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically it. And the thing is, it's not novel to Forza Horizon 5. Like, it was there in 4 and... Was it 3 that debuted it?
Maybe, yeah.
I think. And I haven't liked it the entire fucking time. But yeah, anyway, so you're still not really loving it though, Luke?
I mean, like, I remember playing 4 a lot and being like, all right, I'm going to buy this car and then get to, this point and drive around in these certain vehicles. But now I'm just literally in these supercars the entire time, and I've not bought a single one. Like, it's just, that's what it's given me. And I'm racing in one of those every single time. Like, I want the challenge of, like, I was talking about it last week, and it seems to be there, but they're like blueprints that other people have made. And it's the ones where it's like, this race requires grade B restricted cars, and then you go in there and you choose your B grade car. But there's not enough of them. Like, most of the main races are just literally take whatever car you want and fucking race it. And
I'd be really interested to see how it is now that it's populated by most people. Because back then, like before, it was only people who had bought the fucking tippy top version or game reviewers who had an early code. And
wasn't it just game reviewers at that point, though?
Last Thursday, it was still Friday.
Friday changed.
Friday is when
I've seen people driving around in my game now and doing like global events or something like that. Like, it'll come up with a drift score and everybody's got to drift for 9 minutes and eventually you fail and you're like, well, why did I do that for?
That was good.
Yeah, that was great.
Enough
Thank you.
Job well done.
Which is, that's fucked, because at the end of the day, you're not relying on yourself. If you can do well, but you can still lose because there's not enough people doing that challenge, or maybe 5 minutes in, people have just left and decided to do something else because they're bored. Like, I don't know, maybe that thing is too long. But yes, I'm noticing more people driving around and that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I jump into a race, I'm using the fastest car I've got because that's the fastest I can get the race done, like, as quick as I want. And the driver task system, I still don't understand it in terms of how it's populating different players. Like, it just seems random. It seems to be working better now in terms of the correct numbers. Like, it was just weird numbers of people that were playing before. Like, here's Joab, and Joab's level 15, and here's Steve Wright at Survivor, and he's level 55, and here's someone else, and they're level 20. Like, that seems to be working better now. People have levels, whereas when I was playing it, it was just sort of blankish. But what I'm noticing is Joab's level 15 and this person's 55 and whatever. Like, it just doesn't seem to have any effect on what it's populating these races were. Like, someone who's level 15 is coming second last, and then every other racer is level 0, and then, someone else is 25 and they're coming 6th, and then someone that's like level 4 is second or something like that. And it's just like, doesn't correlate. Like, there's no attachment to what these numbers mean to how it's populating these drivers. It just seems to be randomly assigned to people and doesn't, and then I played the next race, and Joab, who was coming second this game before, is now second last, and nothing's really changed. We're in the same cars. I don't know. It's just weird. Like, it just doesn't explain.
Yeah, that stuff has no fucking. There's no link between, like what it's telling you and what you're seeing happen. So it just has no meaning, really. Yeah, it's odd, that element of it, but at the same time, like, it's about, like, to me, it's become about it being a driving game, not a racing game. I've just sort of recontextualized it from racing game to driving game, and I'm having more fun with it. Or like, outside of, I played the fucking Battle Royale mode, which is there from day dot. Played it a couple of times because I saw Steve Wright from Survivor.
Yeah.
Quite upset because he couldn't win it. He's like, I'm never going to get the achievement for winning this. I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'm going to go do this. And I knocked it out in like 4 attempts. First attempt, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm just sort of driving around. And I made it to 10th.
Yeah.
But sadly, Steve.
How do you knock people out? What is the
So you go, you drive up, you find them in the world, and you honk your horn at them, and that challenges them to a head-to-head race. And then you have to get over to wherever it is as fast as humanly possible.
Okay,
and if you
cool.
get there first, you can either take their car or you can upgrade to a new car.
Right. Is
And
it giving you
basically-
randomly assigned cars when you start, or
Everyone starts out in a punch buggy.
okay?
And you go from there. You sort of level up from there. But there are randomly dropped cars around the map. So
Okay.
basically what you want to do is you pick somewhere on the map, and you pick anywhere on the map, like the full fucking game map. And then you go find, like, there's purple smoke. And that indicates that there's a car drop. You go find better car than the punch buggy, which is literally anything in the game. Anything you can find is better.
Yeah.
And then you, but they're ranked. They're sort of like, oh, this is a rank 2 car. And they go all the way up to rank 10. And generally, but not always, I was like rank 4 and a bit of rank 6 driver, or rank 6 car anyway. Generally, a higher rank means it's a better car or will be faster. The reason my rank 4 beat a rank 6 is because the rank 6 was like a fucking Mercedes-Benz coupe, and I was in this fucking Ford Bronco thing. And so instead of driving along the roads to get to I just fucking beeline straight over the fucking mountain.
Yeah.
And it was a lot faster than trying to stick to the roads. And so there's that sort of stuff to take into account, like what the terrain is going to be like, where you're racing to, and like over the course of it, like I sort of started out, I'm like, okay, fair enough. And then you see in the loading screen, they're like, oh, the head-to-head race ending will always trend towards the center of the circle. And so so that changed it by like the third game I played. I was like, okay, so what I'll do is I'll loop around, I'll look on my map to see where the fucking circle is, and then when I fucking honk my horn at a cunt to trigger the race, I'll already be driving towards the fucking center of the circle, so I'll have a big fucking lead on them. The only reason I lost that one was because I drove up on a dude. You can't really see them until you get really close. Drove up on a dude who had like a rank 9 car, and I was in like this rank 5 piece of shit of like fucking seeing him like, wow, fucking blast past him. I'm like halfway there, and before he's even started driving, and then he sort of like turns around and just fucking flash beats me to the fucking point. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, that one. I had that one, I think, because I could have upgraded to rank 9. The game I won, the fourth attempt, that's basically what happened. I stumbled across a rank 9 car, like, I don't know, the fourth car I found. I went from like rank 2 to rank 9 just on a random drop, which I think is disgusting. Won my next race with brutal ease because nobody, as far as I could see, had more than rank 5. So I went to rank 10. I'm in like the custom-made battle royale car that like is basically perfection. Everyone else is in rank 5 at best, and I literally just went around hunting cunts down and beating them. And there were like numerous times where there'd be like 4 people all racing nearby, and I'd just go find the one with the highest rank. There was a dude who was like rank 8, and I'm like, yep, you're it. Fucking took him out, because the others I didn't have to worry about, right? Like they were only rank 6 or 5. I'm like, well, fuck that. That's like, I'm going to take out the rank 8 guy so he can't get up to rank 10 and maybe beat me. Fuck this shit. Goodbye. I took out like 9 fucking cars on my way to winning that one. by the end, it was a rank 5 and a rank 7 against my rank 10. And like when it's counted, like when it's down to the final circle,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be the last 12 cars, but I had fucking walloped these cars so hard that it was the last 3 cars. And it would have been 1-on-1. It would have been a 1-on-1, except it called it. It like cancelled my final head-to-head. As I was crossing the fucking finish line, it was like, head-to-heads are over. It's now time to get to the final destination. And like, I'm like, but I was just about to fucking win. Get the fuck out of here. And then it was like some place that was like 7 kilometers away, and the circle doesn't matter anymore. Whoever gets there first wins. And like, I'm heading in the wrong direction. They're already on their way, but again, I'm in a rank 10 car. So it didn't, like, not only did it not matter that I was way behind them from the get-go, I just drove up past them. But then, like, when I drove into a fucking tree trying to bust my way through the fucking forest and got stopped dead still, and they overtook me, and I'm, like, reversing, and then I drive into another tree and, like, fucking Miss Magoo my way through this fucking forest. That didn't matter either, because my car was so much better than theirs that I could fuck up all I wanted. I literally just drove up. I could have fucking reversed. Like, I was literally just sitting next to one of them for like a good fucking kilometer, just driving alongside him, like feathering the gas, like just sort of fucking taunting him, and then like I fucking belted off. I was like full blown rabbit in the fucking tortoise. Hair and the tortoise type shit, and I should have fucking lost. I deserved to fucking lose. I should not have won that at all. It was disgusting, but like I could not lose. There's something like, as far as battle royales go, it's deeply broken system. There's no way it's in any way fucking fair. But I did win, and I took a screenshot just for Steve Wright to upset him because I got the fucking achievement 4 attempts in, and that's all that matters.
And he's still trying to this day.
He's still attempting. I got like 7 wheel spins out of that shit as well. It was ridiculous. Like, you get fuck tons of levels. But like, the good thing is it was all about the racing. Like, that was the high positive. Like, they need to do some fucking mad balance passing on that shit. But like, it's actually a pretty compelling fucking method of having online races with people. Like, that's what I was saying last week. What's going to make Forza Horizon 5 work for me is whether or not it's fun to play with other people. Yeah. And that's sort of what's played out. I'm more interested in playing with actual friends, and I haven't had a fucking opportunity because we've been playing something else since it came out. But yeah, like when I do get the chance to, I'm very fucking keen to play with other humans who I know. I think that's going to be the proof of the pudding.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, one thing you talked about last week that I went back and well, I didn't go back to it, but I was sort of playing it and stumbled across a couple more of these, was the sort of lack of challenge. And we were talking about like lack of challenge in the races. It just felt too easy. And you pointed out the one where you looked at the time requirements, and it was like, if you did it in like the minimum requirement to do this race was like 10 minutes and you would get 1 star. And then, so I was doing a bunch of these, and I was like, oh, I can actually go back and look at, like, I can replay those maps, or I can those races and see what other people have done. There's like a leaderboard. And so I went back and looked at the leaderboard because to give you an idea, the very minimal you could do was the 10 minutes, right? That was 1 star. 2 stars is 9 minutes 10. And then to get 3 stars, you needed to hit 8 minutes 20 seconds. And so I went on the leaderboard, and the very slowest time for this particular course was 6 minutes 50. That was the and it was 6 minutes 50 was the slowest time. The second slowest time was 5 minutes 12. The third slowest time was 4 minutes 30. So like there's a big gap between the 3 slowest times in that race, right? And
they got to be going in reverse, right? They're going.
I was like, they were trying to do something like, and this was, and to give you an idea, this was 1,300 players at the time that I looked at this, and so nobody even came close to like that 10-minute mark, and then I looked at the next race that I did, and that was the slowest time that you could pull on this particular race to get the 1-star rating was 5 minutes, and the slowest racer on that particular course was 2 minutes 50. Like they were nearly like they still had
half. Yeah.
the second slowest racer was 2 minutes 15, and like that gives you an idea of just how they're sort of structuring some of these races and what is going on there. But it's sort of too easy at that point. Like it's like nobody's a loser, everybody wins. You're all winners around here, and that is that's the type of game they're sort of making. Is like everybody's having fun, whereas I want something like to
You want to
give
make
me a bit
people
of a
cry.
challenge, right? And maybe this is just not like I'm having fun with it. Like it's a fun game. I just like I can see all these flaws that I look at it. I'm like, well, what's the point then? Is there any point, or am I just literally fucking driving around in these cars? And that seems to be what it is, and I guess people enjoy it. But there's so many because we recorded this before the reviews went up, right? And so many reviews that I read was like, yeah, it's pretty much the same game as the last one. Like not much has changed. Like that was a consensus through so many of these reviews, and I think the thing was getting like 9s and 10s by these people. I'm like, all right, you're talking about how like not much has really changed. Like, where's the evolution? Where's the taking game design ideas and trying to evolve it or make things a little bit better and whatnot? But
I saw that as well.
I don't agree with. I don't like. I very, very highly respect my colleagues, the Australian reviewers who gave it 10s, but I don't agree that it's a 10. I've had so many issues that like, and you know, to be honest, actually they were probably playing on Xbox. I read the reviews, but I don't remember what they were fucking playing on. They were probably playing on Xbox, and it's a standardized platform, and so sometimes issues don't occur. But I did run into some pretty like glaring shit that I'm surprised they missed. Like not just crashes and stuff, although I had a couple, but also like just the pure. I don't know how Far Cry can get slammed for overwhelming people with too much on the map, and this game gets away with it because it is impossible to decipher what the fuck is going on this map after you've opened up a couple of fucking.
And when you clear it, it's like there's a little tick below, and you're like trying to, like see past, like that's got a tick, and there's like 70 things on the screen.
Yeah, like. Yeah, I don't agree with the 10s, but like obviously, you know, the scores don't matter. It's the words that really count, and I thought they wrote really good reviews. And you got to fucking take into account your experience, right? At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters.
I saw all those good reviews, and then I saw your opinion, Luke, and I was like, oh, this should be interesting. I think you tweeted something about like not having a very good time with it.
Yeah.
And I had right before that, I had seen like 5 like 10 out of 10 reviews or something.
Oh yeah.
And then I saw your tweet, and I was like, oh, this should be interesting.
Yeah, I posted that we were just talking about, like how there's no challenge in the game, and like everybody gets a fucking pat on the back, and everyone's a winner because the task is to finish this race in 10 minutes. And the slowest time in the leaderboard is like 6 minutes something out of 1,300 people. And he's the slowest by like 2 minutes. Like, it's just, there's no challenge there. And there's no, and I was watching Gran Turismo drop some trailers recently. And we were talking about this last week, how like I'm really pumped for Forza. But now I'm sort of leaning back in the other direction of being like, actually, maybe I want to play Gran Turismo and get those like slower cars, and then, you know, work my way up to the Japanese sports cars, and then the Formula One cars, and like have some sort of sense of progression and learning these tracks. And because like I don't learn anything in these races, right? I just kind of I look at the mini map, and when the thing tells me to brake, I just fucking brake and I drive.
Yeah, the racing one, yeah.
Whereas in Gran Turismo, I'm like, I really learn weird corners.
With the fucking, like, remember how it used to be like you'd get fucking these tiny increments of like more credits and stuff, and obviously the credits don't really matter unless you're specifically trying to build stuff. But like, yeah, stars don't matter, and XP doesn't matter, and none of this shit matters. But like, I was kind of annoyed at how hard it was for me to fucking work out how to actually change my difficulty, like the complexity of a race. I just wound up doing like the default presets. I just keep bumping up the default presets until it got too high. And even then, like in certain situations, you can win the unbeatable drags with ease. Like and obviously there's not much they can do about that, but like I just found it really interesting that my fucking super van was able to blitz so-called unbeatable fucking AI or driver tires without any real hassles, just because it's a drag strip and it doesn't need to turn. And I've done some really fucked up things to the motor in that thing. It's just disappointing to me. And like continuously stepping it back from unbeatable until I found like something that I felt was interesting to race against and not like tediously annoying where I'm having to rewind every time I don't take a fucking corner perfectly or some shit because I'm not a fucking Formula One driver.
Right.
That kind of thing. Because all it seems to really do is step up the fucking race class of the other drivers until and that's just, it doesn't really.
Have you figured out how to win a starting line race yet? Like I get blitzed every time I get off the starting line.
I've got no idea, and I was still winning drag races in the old super van, but no, I've got no idea how to fucking do that shit, and it drives me bonkers because I'll
have cars that
the fact there's no
exactly
countdown
same as me go past, and I'm like, all right,
fair
enough.
There's no countdown. Like, why is there no fucking countdown with this shit?
They've never.
It's
I don't
crazy.
think they've ever had a countdown in this one.
But like, it's a drag race, and it's just sort of, well, fucking go whenever, mate. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's just so apathetic,
right,
about the start of these races. That's what cemented for me that it's a driving game, not a racing game. Like, the races don't matter.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyway. I did do one of those. I'm not sure what class like races they are, but it's like the Colossus race where you jump in and you do like a 10-minute loop. Well, I'm in a super fast car, but it's like a 10-minute loop of like the entire map, and that stuff is cool. Like you get to see all the different biomes and that sort of thing. And it's mostly on highways, and so you're going 230, 300 kilometers an hour, and that stuff is really fun. But I'm just sort of I jump in and do a couple races, and then I jump out and play something else at this point. It's not really capturing me as much as what I hope it would. So yeah, a bit disappointed, but hey, maybe it's just not for me. So, all right, that's Forza Horizon 5 Game Pass. Check it out. Just quickly, I've been playing a bunch of Satisfactory, a little bit, 20 hours or so this last week. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit.
Slight taste.
Well, I had an update, right?
Yeah, the plan was to play Forza Horizon 5, but I just kind of burnt out on that. So I was like, I got some time now. Let's do Satisfactory. Update 5. This is a construction building game that we've spent a lot of time in over the last couple of years when they've been dishing out these major updates. This is on the experimental branch of the game at this point, and then they'll roll it out to the main one quite soon. But the basic idea is they've couple of new changes in there. They've cosmetically updated a bunch of things in the background, so you've got signs in the game now that you can access. You're able to stick these signs on top of buildings or construction equipment or basically wherever you want. There's different size signs and all that sort of stuff. There's new materials that you can sort of use to cosmetically put onto your factories, new foundations, new walls, new ways to construct roofs, that sort of stuff. You can go in and customize the colors of all of these things now, not just the walls and the roofs and the floors, but the actual buildings. You can jump in and customize how they look and what colors you want. So if you want to sort of color scheme certain areas, you can jump in and do that. There's patterns and all sorts of stuff that you can unlock as well. So aesthetically, they've sort of allowed you to customize your factories the way that
Personalize your shit. Yeah.
yeah you want to, as opposed to everything sort of just being that yellow color that it starts off with as a default way. One other thing they've put in there in terms of building is called zooping. So previously, when you would build like a floor, you would kind of just put it down and then go and then make the next floor or the wall and sort of try and aim it so that it's in the right spot. Now you can do this thing called zooping where you kind of just click and drag and it'll make this really long 10 by 1 sort of floor lane that you can build, and it's really quick. So now rather than just clicking like one at a time, it just quickly all in a line, off you go, and you can really make wide open floor spaces quite quickly by just click and dragging on this zooping thing. Works really well. Everything sort of just snaps together and off you go. So sort of like floor planning is a bit easier now, which is great because you get to a point early in that game where you're like, oh, if I build all these floors, I can structure things a little bit neater and everything's sort of leveled out. And by having this new system in there, it really makes things a lot easier to lay out the factory floors, which is great. They've added updates to trains. They've got train signaling there. They've got a collision system. They updated the vehicle behaviors, the way that they drive around, which is great, pathing and that sort of stuff. And also cosmetically updated some of the environments. So there's like a couple of different biomes in the game where they've given them like a facelift. And also there's a bunch of caves that you can explore in the game. And it seems like they've done some passes on them as well. So yeah, that's sort of like the gist of it as in terms of the big things that they're doing. And obviously some smaller tweaks along the way, you know, some patterns in the like what's required to build certain things has been tweaked a little bit. But it's a lot of bug fixing and fixing performance. They've dropped in the dedicated server support, which is still very early, but you can do that. We had one of our listeners, JB, tried to fire up a dedicated server. We couldn't get it running in the end, but I think it's maybe like some sort of firewall issue at this point. But that's in there now, so we can start some sort of dedicated server we wanted to. But at the same time, we were kind of just playing off of Drew and I were playing off of my PC, and across the 20 hours that I played, not a single crash at all. On experimental, ran perfectly. Frame rate was fantastic. Like no issues at all, and like it runs great. I mean, like I kind of wanted to touch on this, but the last like week I've seen a lot of talk about unpacking, right? And we talked about unpacking last week and how great I think that game is. Like it's really good, but I'm also seeing a lot of people talking about this game like it is the fucking best thing that's walked on this planet in terms of game design. And I'm like, really? That's where you're going with this? And I feel like I want to show them a game like this and be like, look at the shit this thing does. Like, it's fucking bonkers what this game can do. And just how insanely good it is, as opposed to a game where you unpack boxes. And I like that game. I think it's good. I just don't think it does anything revolutionary that is mind-blowingly that we can see like in all these other games that I play. And so, yeah, just every time I jump into Satisfactory, I am just blown away by how much fun I have in it and just how insane the things it's doing. Like, I just don't understand how they're doing it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The optimization is very impressive. Like,
yeah,
I'm always really impressed by like Factorio and Satisfactory and games like that, Dyson Sphere. Like the optimization that they have to get to make all of that stuff happening, like frictionless and without stutters and stuff. It's pretty amazing.
And have it run like perfectly. Like have it run. Well, I mean, you know, I'm 20 hours in, but I've got a lot of stuff everywhere, and like it just runs so good, and it just blows my mind that this is something that has been designed and it's gotten to the point where it runs seemingly very well. Yeah, and like I just want to show those people like, hey, look at this shit over here. Look what this thing's doing. You know, like, I get that you can pick up a fucking bottle and it makes a sound on this surface, and I mean, like I play fucking Rainbow Six, and when I shoot a door, it makes this door like shooting a door.
I
When I
think
shoot
like
a metal,
it's got like the Aussie made bump going for it, and it's got
does.
like the sort of like story about trauma thing going for it. I haven't played it yet, but I hear like the unpacking the items tells a little bit of a story.
Yeah, it does.
So
And
it's
it
got
does that
that,
stuff well. But I
those
just
are
think,
things that some reviewers really like to sing the praises of.
yeah, I just think they've gotten way too attached to it. Again, I like that game, but I don't think it's like doing anything game design wise that is, it's a small indie game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Satisfactory is amazing. Like this game is phenomenal. The things that it can do, it's like and it ticks those boxes of like that idle game, but in a first person sort of perspective. And I was like, I messaged, Joab jumped in when I was playing it. I was like, fuck, I miss you playing this because I need the exploration factor, because it's got so many different, like, you don't just build stuff, you've got the exploration side and the researching side. And so I've built all this stuff, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to spend this day, the next 3 hours, just roaming around, collecting hard drives and searching for materials that I haven't found before, so we can unlock the blade runners and run around quickly and get the zip lines going and like all that sort of stuff, where there's this entirely other side of the game that one person can dedicate their entire play session to and just unlock all this other cool stuff. And it's just so deep, that game. I think it's very good, and it's a devastating time sink to just jump in and get lost in.
It's the one that I haven't played yet. I've played Factorio, I've played Mindustry, I've played Dyson Sphere, but I have not yet jumped into Satisfactory.
Yeah, Satisfactory is the thing where you're building these things and you're down on the ground and you can see it all. You're running around and like that, the scale of it is just
The change of perspective really alters how you experience it.
Yeah. And the other thing is like the sense of discovery, like learning these systems and how they work with each other. I'll always remember those first times when Joab and I were playing, and we would build things and they just work. Like we'd set up this thing and it would just work. Like, oh fuck, all right, we've got this idea, we've got this thing that'll build here and it'll go into this box, and then what if we stuck like another box on top of it and then have that feed into this thing? Well, that and then like it does, and you're like, holy shit, that's awesome. And then you get further and further down the research tree, and then you unlock a thing that does exactly the same thing you've just built, but it's something you discovered for yourself. And then like having you and I trying to sort out power issues in our base, and like having this weird system where we can switch off our main base from our power grid and trying to get things back up and running, and event like jump starting our power grid. And they've now incorporated like that sort of stuff into the game, where you can, rather than just deleting power lines, like they've got like a fuse box now, you can just switch it off. And like it's so good. It's so good, the things they've put into this game, that like, yeah, it's awesome. So good. I think it's getting close to being rolled out. I feel like next year it's got to be hitting 1.0. Has to.
Yeah, which will be awesome. I mean, I'm trying to hold off, right? I'm trying to hold out until it does go 1.0 at this point. It was helpful that I had something else to play this weekend. But yeah, like it's hard seeing you guys playing in the Discord, because I could so easily go for it. It's just very zen. I don't know if I don't know if we've spoken since the first time I played it, but like the first time I played it, Jung, Luke talked about it for fucking, I don't know, 45 fucking minutes. He just yapped for ages about this game. And I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I cannot believe you're fucking talking about this on the goddamn podcast. This is the stupid, I'm never going to fucking play it. And then Luke's like, oh yeah, no, just try it. And so I jumped in, and what did I pour in, like fucking 24 hours in the space of a weekend or some shit? Yeah.
I did a similar thing.
Like just fucking straight down the fucking
Yeah, and
rabbit
he's like,
hole.
I was wrong. I was
Yeah,
wrong.
I was wrong.
Yeah, I had a similar thing with Factorio. Like it had to be ninja'd in because like I didn't get into Factorio directly. I started playing Mindustry, and even only then because it was presented to me as tower defense. And you know how much I love tower defense.
Yep.
And so I tried Ministry, and then it's got this whole automation aspect to the game. And then I saw people on the community forums and stuff saying, yeah, it's they were always comparing it to Factorio. They were going like, oh yeah, it's like Factorio, but blah blah blah. But I still think Factorio is the goat. Blah blah blah. So then I looked at Factorio, and I was like, it's always $40 Factorio. It's like always $40 AUD,
Yep.
and it never goes on sale. So I was like, ooh, should I pay $40? And then I noticed it had like a demo, and after like the demo was like 12 hours. And I played the demo, and I was like, shortly after starting the demo, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely buying this game. Yeah, so that was my path, and then like I spent lots and lots and lots of hours in Factorio.
Yeah. Yeah, you just like it's extremely compelling gameplay. They do a really good job with that shit.
Yeah, I love I want in fact, like I haven't even gotten into all the mods yet for Factorio.
Yeah.
But I would love for there to be like different enemy types and stuff.
I've been pitching doing mods for Satisfactory just to sort of shortcut the startup element.
Yeah.
Just because how many times have we played Satisfactory from scratch now, right? Like,
I bet I just enjoy it. Like, it's fun for me. Like, every time I jump in, I know more about the game than what I did last time. And so the building of the base is always like that next evolution of like, I know how to do this stuff. It's easy. Like, and it's laid out a lot better and that sort of thing. But I have seen people doing like the mods for the new train system. Like somebody's updated the mod, the blueprint for the train system, and like, hey, here's a new one, and we've done the entire map, and you just kind of just download that. And apparently, you can merge it into your save file or something. I'm not sure. There's like this whole modding scene that you can do. So like, you don't have to build the train system. Somebody's already done it for you, and hopefully, it just doesn't run through like existing buildings or something like that. But
that's the only thing about Satisfactory versus Factorio or something, is that change in perspective sort of really narrows it in. But I guess like with the swoop thing, that'd help significantly. And you got like every time I played Satisfactory, I got really good at that fucking finding that one pixel where if you just took a single step back, you'd be able to place all your things. But it was really tedious finding that one fucking pixel. So swooping would fucking...
Oh, yeah, the zooping thing, there was one point where I was making some floors, because I like to make floors off of the actual map, like on a cliff somewhere, and on the top of a waterfall or something. And I click the first one and I drag it out, and I'm trying to get it. It's like 9 squares, and I'm like, oh, but I want it 10. So I hold forward to try and walk forward to get that extra lift it up, and I just fall off the cliff, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, because I haven't built the actual floor yet. Just dumb mistakes. But yeah, absolutely recommend Satisfactory to everybody. I think it's fantastic, and it's going to take up way more of my time than it should. It's great. So it's on Epic as well if you want to check that out. I think the update 5 will be pushed to the main game quite soon, but also you can easily just transfer from experimental to the main game without any issues, which is great.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's keep going here. Rainbow Six Siege, High Caliber.
Hey, the numbering. Hey.
Yeah, there you go.
High Caliber is the Year 6 Season 4 update for Rainbow Six Siege, and it is an interesting one to me. They're redoing Outback. I got to play it in a preview session. It was quite a lot of fun. They're always pretty fun, but not good for previewing, in my opinion. I think I talked about it last time. Like, it's sort of treated like it's a fucking, I don't know, a fucking warm-up before a comp match or some shit. where everyone's being silly, but also sweating pretty hard. And meanwhile, there's me doing my usual thing of trying to work out, oh, yes, I'm just going to shoot this wall to test out this new gun to see how it goes with the destructibility. And then I'm getting fucking headshot from across the fucking map because I'm blatantly shooting into a fucking wall, making a fuck ton of noise. But yeah, it's got a new operator, Thorn. She's got like a proximity mine, but I think it's too slow. We didn't get it. I'm pretty sure I got the only fucking kill with the proximity mine. And there's a little bit of, they got this new UI. They've debuted a new UI, which worked a little bit, wasn't working 100% as intended during this fucking preview session. So I thought I shot the person on the other team, but from their perspective, they died to the thorn, the device, the shell, the razor bloom shell. So basically, you put it down. It has like an area effect. It's quite large. You can put it basically anywhere, and once a attacker walks into range, it like and then explodes. Right, and if you shoot it before it explodes, or if you walk out of the area before it explodes, then you're fucking fine. And if you don't, you're fucking dead. It does a fuck ton of damage. Not necessarily enough to kill you, but if you've taken any damage at all, maybe enough to kill you. And yeah, from my perspective, what was happening was they would hear it, they turn, and they blap it pretty quickly. Because the sound is still pretty good in Rainbow Six Siege at this point, and so it's quite easy to fucking identify where it is. Even if you put it in a sneaky spot, you'd have to put it like underneath some shit to really ramp that level of sneakiness up. So yeah, they turned, but basically what I learned is if you're playing as Thorn, you're an anchor sort of player. You got to fucking hang out around the site and put your proxy mines up, or I guess you could anchor somewhere off-site to sort of slow them down, but it would rely on them actually being attacking from that direction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, put it down. I hear it get triggered, and so I just step out because I know what's going to happen is they're going to turn to look at it, and I get a fucking easy kill. From their perspective, they actually didn't shoot it in time because I started shooting them, so they sort of panicked, and so they thought the mine killed them. I thought I shot them. It was hard to tell. To like the real takeaway for me was that it was taking too long to actually be of any real like damage dealing use. It was more a distraction technique as opposed to something you can use to fucking hurt people, a la cap can traps, which they allow you can stack cap can traps now, like 2 fucking traps on one door, which is bananas. It's a insta kill, which is like a big game changer. Obviously, it lowers the spread of cap can, but increases their lethality. It's and really stops that last second fucking rush into the fucking bomb site to try and get something down. Anyway, she's Irish, and I like her call outs, like her voice lines. I don't know, I like the Irish accent. I'm just a fan of it. But she's got like the first entirely fictional gun in Rainbow Six Siege's history, and I thought that was really fucking weird, right? Because I don't think that they've exhausted. I understand changing a gun so that you can get around licensing issues, or like the SC3000K that Sam Fisher uses, right? He's a fictional character from a fictional universe, but it is his gun. So I didn't really have a problem with that, and also it's based on a real gun anyway. But this one is a 50 cal Uzi, which doesn't exist in real life. The bullets it fires exist, but like just there's so much about it just doesn't make sense to me. And I just found it really weird because Rainbow Six is supposed to be sort of grounded in reality. That's the
is that the one that that Thorn carries?
Yeah.
That's hilarious because, like, I saw in the press release they had the image, and then in big text at the top they had high caliber, and then they had her carrying like a little small SMG, and I was like, well, that doesn't seem very high caliber. And so now you're telling me it's actually 50 cals.
It's a 50 cal SMG.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is ridiculous, right? Like, so yeah, I dug deep on this shit, and the bullets it fires are actually they exist, and they're a modification of they're slightly smaller than the Desert Eagle 50 AE. They're called the 50 GI, but and they're chambered into a custom-made M1911, which usually fires 45 rounds. Now it's firing 50 cals. It's a slight difference, but the real kicker for me is that this gun is a fucking laser. Like you can fucking just laser in on shit. There's no fucking missing, right? Like once you start shooting, there's fuck all recoil. There's no need to recoil control. When really, like having fired a 45 and a 50, a Desert Eagle and an M1911 in real life, both of them fucking kick. And like even if you were accommodating, even if you were well practiced, they're still gonna fucking kick if you fire 23 fucking bullets in the space of 2 fucking seconds. So like, yeah, there's just something way off on the recoil. Like there should be some fucking huge fucking downgrade there, but it just doesn't exist.
Wow.
It's just odd, right? And there's no reason it needed to be a 50 cal. Like there's just no reason it had to exist in the way that it does.
That's so bizarre.
The fucking, I guess the narrative excuse is that like it's supposed to be a weapon that really punches through walls. That's what they're going with.
Why not just make it bigger?
Or or just say
to make it like thematically appropriate.
Just say it's using some fucking like if you get like make it a real gun and say it's got some fictional ammo that punches through walls a lot or some shit. Like I'm just fucking confused.
Yeah, why did it have to be an SMG?
Why did it have to be an SMG? That is so odd to me. But like, yeah. That's odd. I find that odd. But she's a cool character outside of that. It's just sort of rough for Rainbow Six.
The message is a little package can carry a big punch.
That's pretty good. Redoing Outback was weird to me as well. I know it hasn't been competitively viable for ages, but I don't really give a fuck about that. I liked it as a map. And I know when it was introduced, it debuted a new level design philosophy for Rainbow Six. And so this feels like they're like, I don't know, well, that philosophy was wrong. But in execution, it's not really how it played out. All they really did was sort of what was happening was it was basically impossible to get inside on Outback, and they've opened it up. They've made more destructible walls externally, so you've got more opportunities. The defensive team can still fucking go board that shit up if they want. In practice, I think it's an improvement. I think it's a better version of what a map I already liked, and it's still got the same sort of vibe to it, the same personality. They didn't really impact that, which is all that really matters, right? So there's that. What else? If you throw like cameras that are outside, now lose connection, lose signal after 10 seconds, and they have to be replaced to gain signal again, which means you have to pick up your drones if they're outside, or you have to pick up your Valk cams or your bulletproof cams or all that kind of shit.
But how do you pick up the Valk cam if it's outside?
Run out there.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I've got a source that said in the next update, you'll be able to take out the outside cameras with a slingshot, and the slingshot is a 50 cal.
Yo, 50 cal slingshot, eh? Why stop there? Like fucking 12 mil cannon slingshot, just loading the fucking shells in and just flinging them.
Yeah.
They explode on impact.
David and Goliath.
So what basically all it does is limits, like if you are going to try and use a cam to do a run out, you need to like really specifically time that shit. Or the camera is not going to be useful for it anymore. And I think it's a step in the right direction. I still think the moment you fucking vault, you should be lit up. Everyone should know where the fuck you are. I hate runouts. I know. I fucking every time I talk about Rainbow Six, I talk about this, but I fucking hate runouts. I don't think that should exist in the game. It's called fucking siege, right? You're supposed to be besieged. In a siege, the soldiers do not leave the castle.
Yeah, they do.
They're
It's
under
called
siege.
sallying out.
Hey,
It's called sallying out.
sallying out. Oh yes.
Theoden King, ride out with me.
Fucking roll out with fucking Achilles and what's his name? Hercule? No, not Hercule. Hector.
Achilles and
Hector.
Hector. Yeah.
Hector, right? Go
Hector.
out, challenge their champion. Easy. Yeah, you're supposed to fucking stay in there. It's called siege. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Stay inside. But the thing is, like, defenders already have it's a defensive sided game in general. And so I do not think they need the run out as a tool in their arsenal to really change the layout, the balance of power, right? It just creates a situation where attackers are vulnerable with no recourse. And I'm not saying block them inside. I'm just saying theoretically, right, the reason they're blocked inside during the drone phase is because they'll be shot if they exit the fucking building. Surely the same snipers who would shoot them before they exit the building, narratively speaking, could just fucking spot them immediately. They're snipers, for fuck's sake. Right? What the fuck else are they doing? Anyway.
We'll give you a head start.
Yeah. Yes. You got 1 second.
It's only
See what
polite.
you can do. But yeah. Anyway, I think the camera change is a great move to sort of curb that shit, but I still think they could go further. And what else is there? The UI change is good. I think it's a really nice. If you have a look at it, they've changed the layout of a lot of things. They've made it a lot clearer and cleaner. I know that some of the information is a little bit oddly placed. I would prefer the camera. The camera now has 3 levels to it, which is really cool because you can ping and non-verbally like indicate fucking verticality, which I think is fucking cool. But I'd prefer it would be up the fucking top of the map. I understand that's where the scoreboard is, but that's where I've trained my eye to look for a lot of compasses. It's the same in another game, but we won't talk about that just yet.
Half-Life.
It's Half-Life 3.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. It's just like I said for the last update that I hoped they did something really big for this update, and they didn't. And I worry that they're sort of just in a holding pattern for Rainbow Six now.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's disappointing because I don't know. It could have been a contender. You know?
Was the major of that happening around the same time as the major of the CSGO?
I don't know. I don't even pay attention.
I saw an update about the Rainbow Six major, but it seemed like it was a similar time frame, or maybe it's
I think
just
it
like
was.
near.
I'm pretty sure it was because usually that's how they time these updates. So and the major was what, yesterday.
Got to make sure it's all happening at once.
Yeah.
So we can't watch both.
Right. Which
Well,
is
the CSGO, like Navi was kind enough to make the CSGO major as quick as possible by not losing a map. So
very cool of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's Rainbow Six Siege High Caliber. Is that out now, or is it coming out?
It'll hit the test server next week, I believe.
Okay. Cool. Call of Duty 7, God.
Seven guard, nice. We stick the landing. Call of Duty Vanguard.
Numbers, what do they mean?
Came out last week, and I've had a chance to play it. I haven't played any multiplayer. I've only been playing the campaign because I'm doing some Call of Duty work.
Yep.
Call of Duty related work based around the campaign.
Good things about it.
I like it. I reckon you're going to hate it, right? Because that's how it's gone, Luke.
Okay.
Every time I've liked the campaign, you've hated it, and every time you've liked the campaign, I've fucking hated it. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna hate this one because I like it so far. I think the characters are really interesting, and it's telling an interesting story. I love World War II stories, so it's got that from the fucking outset. But it's a different angle to take. They're not doing the usual Call of Duty thing, or it is still the usual Call of Duty thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's no longer, not quite as bombastic so far. You're doing some pretty boots on the ground shit. I'm sure it will ramp up towards the end, but yeah, a cool bunch of characters, except for the Aussie character voiced by the dude who did Mozzie in Rainbow Six. Legitimately, every time he speaks, I want to die. It makes me scream in my head.
Fucking hell, mate! Come on.
Oh, you're a fucking drongo. He says drongo. Anyway, I assume this is how Jung is all the time around everyone. He's just like, oh my god, the way these people speak.
Yeah.
Is that really how you? Oh fucking hell. Fucking hell, mate. Anyway, yeah, no, I think the campaign's really cool so far. They're doing different things. It seems like each character has a different ability, I guess, which sort of changes up how they experience the map. And so I don't know any of the names except for the sniper chick. But the leader dude, he can actually direct, you can tell him to do one thing or another, and it sort of changes the way the level plays out, which is cool. So you could be like, provide cover fire on that half track, and if they do that, then you can move through the street. But if they attack that house, then you can't. If you go into the street, you'll get minced by the half track. Stuff like that, which is pretty interesting, I thought. Is the fucking blur on my Discord just sort of it looks like I'm fucking dying. It looks like it's expanding until I'm fucking fading into the fucking mist or some shit.
It's because you keep on waving your hand in the foreground.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm fucking it up.
It screws with it. Yeah.
It looks like I'm through the ring into Mordor, and now I get to go to fucking the Elven land or whatever the fuck it is.
I mean, you already look like Jesus at the moment anyway, so it's like this halo around you.
Yeah. I'm going home. It's been 3 days, cunts. That's what Jesus said. That was a quote.
3 fucking days.
It's been 3 days, cunts. Anyway, yeah. So he can sort of direct people, and Polina Petrova, the Russian sniper, she can climb walls and shit, which is different, right? You can do your vaulting thing, but she can also there's handholds, and she can scale walls and stuff. And her level is actually pretty open. It's not the usual. There is it's a mixture of the linearity of a Call of Duty level, the run and gun element, and then plus a decent amount of open sort of stealth gameplay where you can take people down as you like, and it sort of impacts how rough your the big action sequence is going to be for you, because if you've killed almost everyone without being seen, there's not that many people left, which is cool. They're just doing cool, interesting things, and the storytelling's interesting enough to keep me fucking engaged. I do have some concerns about how hard it's fucking making my graphics card work for seemingly no goddamn reason. It's like sitting around fucking 90 degrees, and it absolutely shouldn't be. There's no reason for this game to be like. It doesn't look bad under any circumstances, but I've got a fucking 3080, and I think Battlefield looks better. I don't think Battlefield looks great, but I think Battlefield looks better, and it's not making my fucking graphics card work this hard either. So,
as soon as you let an Australian studio close to GPU optimization,
is that your theory? Is it?
yeah,
They
just want to make the GPU as hot as a Sydney summer day.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna play through the rest of it. I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I want to play zombies. I've heard it's really like it's a different take on it, and I think it'd be worth checking out. I mean,
I'm gonna
who
have to
doesn't like
try
a bit
and
of co-op zombies? Well, fucking, I heard you got offered one and you turned it down like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, the other day I got offered. I was like, nah.
Threw it back in their face.
Ding
I'm
dong.
good. Because I was like, I've heard this game is a dumpster fire. Like, it has to be a dumpster fire, right? Like,
You said that to the PR, did you?
no. No. Someone
Fucking
else.
pissed in their face or something. Good lord.
No, I'm just like, we've heard the stories of how this sort of games development has gone. I'm like, it's going to be a trash fire, like, but apparently it's not. So I turned it around.
It might be the classic, the classic COD thing of the story part is good and then the multiplayer is terrible. Like, there's a strong chance that that's happening here. But yeah.
They also get the opportunity to like have there's like a separate studio making not Warzone. Fuck, is it Warzone? I've forgotten the name of their
Warzone Battle Royale. Yes, Warzone.
So like
Warzone
they're no longer like splitting that between like Sledgehammer's making the Warzone thing and like.
I love the idea of you forgetting fucking Warzone. We've spent fucking 8,000 hours talking about Warzone on this podcast
now.
Fucking hell.
Anyway,
been 3 days, guys.
Yeah,
that's the title of the podcast.
Okay, next up we've got the big finales are coming in. Elden Ring is the game we'll be talking about next. This is the technical test from Software's latest game, creators of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, all
Never
fantastic games. Yes, you have. You're a liar. You're a fucking liar.
Oh, you got me.
Well, like according to my last review I've done for them, I've never played any of the games either. Because I gave the Dark Souls remake a 7.5 and got called all sorts of names.
You mean the Demon Souls?
Demon Souls.
Yeah, remake.
Shocking.
Didn't have a PS5.
Hey, you still? Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't have a PS5, so I haven't played that yet.
How did you play this?
I'm using someone else's PS5 for this.
Ah, tricky.
But having said that, I literally just today got my own PS5.
Ah,
Yes.
well done.
Yeah.
You got some catching up to do.
So I'll have two in my living room for a little bit, and then I'll give back the one that I was borrowing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, right.
Check out Returnal if you get a chance. Returnal's
Oh,
really
Yeah. I've got a code for that. I've got a couple other codes I need to put in. But yeah, when I find time, I'll definitely play through the Demon Souls one.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Like, it's just like shockingly, From Software has learned a lot in the fucking decade plus since they made that one.
Oh yeah, I mean that one was highly experimental. Even just from like Demon Souls to Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It's like Demons was so experimental.
Anyway, all right. What can you guys tell us about this? What's the setup? What is going on here? What have you played? What have you seen?
So
Well,
imagine
I've never really played any game like it, Joab. What do you reckon?
what?
Never played anything like it.
So it's
Imagine
like
Dark
unpacking.
Souls 4.
Is it even comparable to Dark Souls?
Junglist, what are you doing? Why are you coming on my podcast and shitting things up?
I suppose people at home can't see me chuckling away.
Nobody watches the video portion of this podcast. It is legit like Dark Souls.
It's Dark Souls 4.
4.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why it's not called Dark Souls 4.
Yeah.
Oh, we finished the story. As far as I could tell, there was no story. I know this is going to upset Junglist, but there was no.
I don't know.
Story. I don't know.
Like, I mean, I'm sure there is one, and I'm sure it's, under the hood and you got to look for it and blah, blah, blah. But so far, the story is one for one with Dark Souls. Like, just replace the words. Like, you've got tarnished in this one, which is the equivalent of, what was it? In 1, it was chosen undead. In 2, it was bearer of the curse. In 3, it was ashen one. So now, the undead are coming to this land. Now it's the tarnished are coming to this land. What is it? Before it was bonfires, now it's points of grace.
Yeah.
Before it was souls, now it's runes. So you can just one for one change the words of a lot of the stuff. And yeah.
In my preview, I called them bonfires the entire time, and I refused to fucking change.
Yeah.
I'm not changing. I don't give a fuck. I'm not calling it points of grace. That's idiotic. You warp to a bonfire, goddammit. Yeah. It is. It's Dark Souls 4, and it's an open world game. And the open world element changes quite a lot. Like really, really changes how the game plays. But then, once you're familiar with it, it's the same. It's exactly the same. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I'll play the shit out of it.
I'm going to play so fucking much of this game.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
I played so much of this fucking demo.
Once you get past that initial expectation, like I think people would be expecting it to be quite different, blah, blah, blah. Once you get past that, and you just accept, okay, this is Dark Souls 4. And then you go, are you fine with that? And my answer is, yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm going to play the absolute shit out of it. Yeah.
Do you know what I found really interesting was like, so you start off in this tutorial area. You do this, like, it's like jump down and do the tutorial area, right? Which, by the way, if you're listening and you made it into the network test, don't bother. Just don't bother. It's pointless. You'll miss nothing. You earn about fucking 150 souls. And because I went and did it, right? Because I had this theory. I'm getting way ahead of myself. You go through that little bit and you're like, all right, yeah, it's pretty Dark Souls, bro. And then you like loop all the way back out again. You do the boss fight, literally the easiest fucking boss fight in the history of the fucking series.
Well, yeah, that was just illustrating one technique. And then I think it wanted to show you that technique was powerful. So if you do it, you like kill the boss in 2 hits or something.
I one hit. It's like, now it's time to parry. Here's how to parry. And you parry and you fucking stab him. His parry window is hilariously wide. So I don't think that sets you up for shit. And then you fucking stab him and he's dead. And you're like, okay, that is high comedy. But the next time I went through, I didn't even bother. I just ran up to him and fucking swiped at him. R1. And he's dead. I'm like, all right, no. Well, and I got 150, like, because I wanted 200 souls, right?
Wow.
Is why I went back through it. I wanted 200 souls so I could buy the fucking crafting thing.
Oh, yeah.
From
the one that cost 50.
Well, I thought it cost 200, right? That was my problem.
Okay.
I'm like, I need 200 souls for the fucking crafting thing. And then it didn't even get me that. And then I got to him, the dude who sells it, and it's 50. I'm like, all right, fine, that's good. But I could have gotten that by killing a couple of fucking sheeps. Yeah. So, pointless. So don't bother with that shit.
Now it's an MMO where you're killing boars.
You're killing boars for like small increments of souls. But,
yeah.
Oh, not souls. What are they called instead? Something.
Runes. Yeah, runes. Don't call them souls.
My bad. So, that sort of lulls you into this false sense that you're in a Dark Souls game, right? It tricks you, right? You're like, oh yeah, okay. I went to this bit, fair enough. Boss was a bit easy, but yeah, okay. I guess I'll just walk up to that fucking castle next to the big golden tree, right? Like that's where I'm supposed to go. That's how this fucking shit works. And you walk off in that direction, and first of all, you get absolutely fucking butt blasted by the golden tree sentinel knight.
Hold on, you're talking to Jung here. Jung fucking destroyed this thing, I bet you. First go.
Not first go. I did beat it. I saw some messages saying just leave it, and I was like, nah, I want to beat it, so I beat it.
Did you beat it before you moved on?
Yeah.
Before you got the horse?
Yeah, before I got the horse.
Oh,
yeah.
you're a fucking monster.
I told you.
You're
I
a
knew it.
fucking
I
monster.
knew it.
Are you supposed to fight him mounted? Is that what you're
He's
supposed to do?
so much easier mounted.
Really?
Oh my god.
I beat him on
Oh
the
my
ground.
god. His sweep attack is so fucking big, man.
I thought
Holy
this was
shit.
like meant to be like, you know how every Dark Souls game starts with that like unbeatable boss or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
they're beatable, but like, yeah, I thought this was supposed to be like that, but like a little bit more beatable.
Yeah.
So because my first go, I got him to like 40% or something.
I think I hit him twice. But
Yeah.
I was playing as the fucking idiot with the fucking axe. And the
Right. Yeah,
the
I took your
fucking-
advice.
Oh my god. You
I
can
took
hit
your advice
about
on the
like if you hold your elbow out in front of you, you can't hit anything beyond your hand with the fucking axe. Like you like swing and you're like, well, I feel like that should have hit. And
That's so
then
weird.
some dude with a fucking pickaxe lodges it in your brain. You're like, hell, that's what I get.
Huh.
Yeah, fucked you up. And I made the mistake of leveling that shit up as soon as I had the smithing stones. But so I'm like, well, I gotta stick with the
yeah.
axe now because I've spent all these fucking. Fuck.
I did one playthrough as like the Wolf Knight guy, and then one as the Enchanted Knight.
Yep.
So I got to try
Enchanted Knight with the staff and the sword.
Yeah, he had the staff and the spear.
Spear.
And
That's it, yeah.
the spear I found was really good for the block counter, like when you block and then counter with a heavy.
Oh yeah.
So they brought in that new attack, and I think it's going to increase the viability of a shield heavy blocking playstyle.
Yep.
It's quite strong, especially with the spear, because you can do it in a tight quarters, and
Without
just
like hitting the fucking wall.
yeah, without hitting the wall, and like as long as you pick the last attack in their combo,
Yeah.
like you could put points into strength and stam, get a tower shield, and after the last hit in their combo, just do that hit, and you'd be in a pretty good place. And I'm not sure the game needed that. Like, I'm not sure the shields blocking heavy playstyle needed a buff.
Yeah.
Like, because it was already
You're
pretty
already not
strong.
taking damage.
Yeah.
So like you can technically just fucking wait your way through this shit. Like just fucking single swipe, stand, recover stamina, stand, swipe. Like you could pretty much do that. The fucking buckler soaks up fuck tons of damage. I feel like nothing does really enough damage at this point, except for that there are a couple attacks that one hit you, but
yeah, there was a couple. But like, I mean, with this thing that strong, it's almost like, why would you parry?
Yeah.
Like, why would you parry when you can just pick the last hit in the combo and get like almost as good as a parry and then keep hitting after that? Yeah, I don't know about that.
And the charge up stagger stuff.
Yeah.
When you charge your R2 and then the next hit will basically always stagger anyone. And you're like, all right. Well,
yeah.
I'm not even gonna fucking block. I'm just gonna dodge, charge, stagger these guns.
There was one boss as well where like, because he was, that Beast Man.
Yep.
I don't know. Should we worry about spoilers? It's not really a spoiler boss.
See, what I was thinking, right, is that you can actually dodge around a lot of shit because there's not the same linearity that you get in the Dark Souls game. It's not like you'd be like, oh yeah, this boss, and then people get up to it. And they're like, oh, well, I know about this one. Like, you can literally, like, Chung, you were at the fucking last boss of the demo, technically.
Yeah.
So they reckon. Although there's one enemy after that I found.
Oh, man, I killed that fucking... So you didn't kill the multi-armed
I
thing?
killed everything, man. Yeah.
I
killed it. It was a pain.
So you got to the thing that happened at the end?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because it's not a spoiler, so nobody worry. But it's just a thing they did to troll the people in the demo. Where you kill, like, after you kill the quote-unquote last boss, you get to this, like, non-boss. And the non-boss is, like, this multi-armed blob thing with a whole bunch of swords and shields. Anyway, we've seen it before in, like, Demon Souls and stuff. But it was really hard to kill. Finally, I killed it. And before you get up to it, there's a locked door. So you think to yourself, oh, this big blob dude's going to have the key. And you kill it. Sure enough, it does have the key. Then you go open the locked door, and there's a ladder leading up. And as soon as you go up and press on the ladder, it says, More to be found in the full version. Stay tuned. And you're like, oh man,
They were
you're
like
expecting this big payoff.
There's 7 messages around it for
Yeah.
me, and it was like visions of tears and shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, what's this payoff going to be? Because it was a hard enemy to beat.
It was pretty funny.
So how do you know like where to go? How is it laid out?
That's the thing, right? In my
I
opinion,
just go anywhere.
you got to play it like fucking Skyrim.
Or like
right?
Breath of the Wild.
It's you got this big fucking castle, and you got the big tree. Don't go there. Go somewhere else. Don't go to Whiterun. Go somewhere else. Right? Like that's basically how you got to do it. You just got to go fucking wherever else and see where it takes you. And like that's the way you wind up learning the tricks in this fucking game is by doing anything else. Like you start to see because there are it's built around these patterns. And so these patterns inform how you fucking continue to play it, which is obviously, I think it's fucking phenomenal. Right? So you got like, you head right into the swamp and like you see like I don't know. Now I'm worried. You see like a fucking set of stairs, right? And you go down the set of stairs and it leads to some shit. But now you know how to look for the stairs.
Yeah.
And that changes a lot, right? Because I didn't actually see any of that fucking area. I somehow missed it. That's the other thing, is like they're so fucking broad that you can easily miss a bunch of shit because you're busy, like you've noticed something else in the distance and you're fucking going for that. Like the first, I didn't get there until I'd literally already finished that multi-arm boss and go onto the ladder, and I was just fucking about trying to find because they had this demonstration thing beforehand that we were all supposed to watch if we were participating in this preview session. And they were like, "You'll find many bosses, blah blah blah, and this and that, and this and that, and even a dragon." And I hadn't found a fucking dragon yet.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck is this dragon?" I gotta go find
like the
this
first thing
dragon.
I found. Like, I went straight into the dragon and got fucking wrecked.
Did you kill the dragon?
No, I didn't kill the dragon.
Oh, I did better than
Hey. I'm gonna blame it on my Shogun.
On your what?
On my recording setup.
Ah, yeah. Oh no, it just didn't didn't record, huh?
Well, yeah. Not only was it not recording, it was giving me this. I think it must have been a dodgy HDMI cable or something, because like the vision would cut out like every 20 seconds or so, including like mid boss fights. Like it would just do this cut out and then come back in thing, and it was really like it would record, but every time it cut out, it would start a new file.
Oh,
and so like I have footage, but it was just extremely annoying to play with, and like in the boss fight, like, they would be gearing up for a big attack and then cut out, and I'd be like, oh, fuck, hold block, and then just hope for the best.
Oh, man. I killed the dragon on the horse as well. I like the horse combat.
Nice. Yeah, it was good. It was good mounted combat. Better than I expected, actually.
Yeah, me too. And I like using the horse to parkour around places. He can double jump, and you've got those like twisty, I don't know, fucking horse jump pads, I guess, that you can use. But you can also, if you jump at them when you're up somewhere high, it will cushion your fall. So you can use that to like get down places really quick. But if you jump off somewhere really high and then you wait until the last second and you double jump, which has worked in every other game I've ever played, you'll still crater. Absolutely. You'll die a horrible death. But yeah.
Did you get into the catacombs?
The catacombs. Where's the catacombs?
It's hard to find. It's like, the swamp, and how the swamp like continues down into this narrow ravine.
Yep.
And you continue down.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And then you get invaded, and then after the invasion, you continue all the way to the end, and there's the catacombs, and there's like a big old boss with 2 swingy axes in it.
Yep. Yep. I did that.
I thought I might have found something that Joab didn't do.
Nobody. I went all over that shit. Went up the top of that. jumped up on my horse above it because it's got the spiral thing, and the wall,
the invisible
like the
wall.
way it walls everything off is like a fog gate, but I don't know why they've done it this way, but it's like literally just enough for you to land on a ledge,
and do nothing else.
A fucking cliff, and then you've got to make your jump back towards the spiral thing, or you'll crater on impact, and you're like, fuck, here we go. Now I'm fucked.
I like the layout. Like, I agree with you when you're talking about like, it's cool how like just dotted all over the land are these little things to find, but also like little dungeons, like mini dungeons, not instanced, with little bosses down below, like I guess you call them mini bosses. And then there's something to get from it, whether it's like an item or a sword, or like in the one that you directed me to, the Pumpkinhead one, there was like the sorcerer teacher was what you get.
Yep.
That's really cool. I'm actually super down for that. I'm super down for just.
I made a mistake with that one because I thought Pumpkinhead had the sword, but it was the
I went
troll.
there and I didn't find the sword.
Did you go in the mines?
No, I didn't find any troll or any mines.
Yeah. So that's the dude with the sword. The sword's fucking amazing. I did remake a Dex character to go just do that, and
that's hilarious. So for those listening, Joab joined my game with his fucking OP sword, and like,
that was a different sword.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah. Well, you had some holy weapon, and I was up against the quote unquote supposed to be final boss of the demo, and I was doing okay. I was getting him down. At one point, I think I got him down to like 15% solo, and Joab just comes into my game. He's like, let's test out multiplayer. And he fucking just like walks up to the boss and holds out his weapon. And then it like helicopters around, spinning into the boss like a million times, instantly gets the boss down to like 10%.
Yep.
And then he dies.
I missed my dodge roll. It was so embarrassing.
And then he just messaged me on Facebook going, did you kill him? And then I actually had quite a like hectic fight with the boss over that 10% left in its health. And like he hit me a few times and I killed him. I messaged you back. I'm like, yeah, I got him. Thanks for doing 90% of the work with your helicopter weapon.
Did you go to the jail?
The jail? No, I don't think so. Wow, that sounds like there's a whole bunch of stuff I missed.
There's so much, man. Did you go to the dragon altar?
Wow, no.
When you kill the dragon and you go to the dragon altar, you get what appears to be a shit spell that turns out to be a fucking amazing spell. I thought, actually, while I was playing, and mild spoilers, I suppose, for anyone listening who's about to play it, but I thought I fucked myself by going the champion, because he's holy strength, faith strength.
Okay,
and
right.
I just wasn't seeing it, right? But then you find that sword I used in the so-called final boss fight with you, and that's really easy. You can do that. You can legit do that within the first fucking 15 minutes. Like I would do it. I would go find the horse. I would get the horse. I'm going to say how you get the horse. You sit at 3 overland bonfires and you get the fucking horse. Everyone should do that as soon as possible. The easiest one is directly out of the fucking start. And then the one at the shop. And then there's another one if you just go right and follow the cliff around. There's another fucking bonfire. Really easy to do. That takes about fucking 4 minutes. And then ride on... Okay, stop explaining how to do this. But within the next 10 minutes, you could have that sword I had and a set of armor. And you
should
will
make a video
roll.
of it.
Well, I don't know. Like, didn't they say no walkthroughs in the?
Double check. But I mean, I know they said no videos longer than 30 minutes.
True.
But you can but I know I mean, there's always going to be like a million like how to get overpowered in the first 10 minutes of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Like those videos are abundant in Dark Souls. So.
True. But yeah, you'd fat roll until you got your strength up, because what is it, like 70%? I think is fat rolling.
I'm not sure what it is for this one.
Yeah, it's around 70. I didn't crunch the numbers exactly, but it's about 70% is fat rolling. But the armor fucking soaks up so much fucking damage, it doesn't fucking matter. And then you've got this crazy sword, and it's really just a matter of having enough fucking mana or whatever the fuck they call it, focus power, to use it as many times as possible. It fucks everything up. So the fucking jail, I ran up as the dude was spawning in and slammed it fucking down on him, and I then had to R1 3 times and he was dead. He never got a fucking chance to move. And the problem with that dude in the jail is that he moves fucking quick. Right. So he's really, really tricky.
You're already speedrunning it.
Yeah. Like, don't worry about it, baby. But yeah, no. So you can do that without finding a fucking boss. You can do that one. Plus, when you kill the dragon, you get that the spell from the dragon altar.
Is that a spell or is it like an Ashes of War?
No, it's a spell. And the Ashes of War is why I thought why I was pissed about going fucking the champion, because I didn't find a single Ashes of War for the fucking axe.
Really?
Not a single one. Yeah.
Huh. Because okay, maybe I had it wrong. Because I thought the Ashes of War were kind of like interchangeable among any weapon.
Nah, they're specific to a weapon type.
Oh, weapon type. Okay. Yeah. I definitely noticed, like, because on my Wolf Knight, I changed from the bastard sword to the long sword, and I noticed you could change, like, you could swap the Ashes of War between them.
Yep.
But then there also seemed to be one specific for shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got So it's weapon type. I didn't find any for the axe, and
that sucks.
If you've got none of the special weapons can change their Ashes of War either. So that blood weapon you found, that can't change its Ashes of War. The greatsword I was using, the holy one, can't change its Ashes of War.
Huh.
The katana can't change it. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, they do they got powerful shit anyway.
Like that's basically the weapon art. That's like the equivalent of the weapon art in this one.
It's probably the only leads to the only real fucking drawback of or only, I don't know, thing I didn't really like is that A, they never explain how to fucking go two-handed, and B, going two-handed is a pain in the fucking ass.
Fuck, I had to message you to find out.
And I only found out through a shit ton of trial and error, like literally just pressing fucking buttons.
I'm pretty sure the menu told me the wrong thing. It said like press R1 and L1 at the same time.
Was it in the menu?
Like I noticed some UI tooltip coming up, like telling me to press.
Yeah, I think like that's what got me started. I can't remember what the tooltip said. Yeah, I know, I do remember that, and that's what got me started down the train of thought of how I might fucking work this crazy shit out, because I knew that you could two-hand weapons, right? flat out, you had to be able to two-hand weapons, because that's the only way to do this weapon art shit. Mm-hmm. Because when you two-handing a weapon and you press R2, it will do it, and like L2. Most of them are pretty dull. But
yeah, the longsword one's dull. You want to change that out.
The helicopter spin on my greatsword, that was the weapon art.
That's amazing. You also you get used to going up to NPCs and trying to talk to them, but jumping instead.
Yeah,
because X is now
X is jump instead, and so it's triangle to interact with people and pick shit up, which is odd, but not that bad, not that big a deal.
I think there might be like tricks with every boss though. Like each one of these encounters that you come across in the world, there seemed to be some kind of something to know. Maybe it's not even a full trick, but there's something to know. Like with the beast guy, I brought a torch into that fight, and I was able to near stun lock him with just spamming L2 with the torch because I had it on my left hand.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Cool.
Yeah. Once I had I took a chance because it said beast man in it, and he had lots of fur, and so I was like,
right,
let me have a go with some fire then. And yeah, just like spam L2 and he gets stun locked and boom.
Yeah, awesome. Did you fight the watchdog?
The watchdog.
Statue thing? With a fire tail?
No. Wow.
It was a pain in the... it just kept repeating this one move that you couldn't fucking hit. Like, I hate when they do that.
I'm surprised there's so much I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
'Cause,
old
like,
fucking leg sweep.
the whole area that we had to play in, like I rode around it
Hmm.
more than once, so I'm surprised there's so much of the stuff that I missed.
Like, you had to basically hug every cliff wall,
Mm,
because then you'd wind up finding a cave,
yeah, right.
and that's essentially what I was doing.
Is there like a map that is filling out as you're exploring, or
So you find these shards of maps, and that sort of creates an overlay for you. And then as you find locations, like named locations, they are marked on the map for you. But you have to actually go in them. It'd be cool if you could like buy some locations off a merchant or something. That'd be, or get a hint at somewhere off a. Actually, did you find that one's a spoiler? There's a invisible dude. Did you find an invisible dude?
Invisible dude, nah.
Okay, because he actually does direct you to
And he's
a
friendly?
location. Yes.
Oh.
And he wants you to go to a specific location, and he walks you all the way down on how to get them. Well, not all the way, but he's actually, maybe it might just be that once you know where he's talking about, it's very obvious what he's saying. But
Okay. 'Cause it would be the return of a trope if it were to have an invisible boss that you had to fight by looking at the footsteps in the snow.
there is a fucking there's something down on the beach front that I actually
down to the
couldn't work
beach.
out.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I couldn't work
I
that
didn't.
out.
I didn't know what the thing was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I tried attacking it. I tried chasing it.
ditto. No idea. But
Somewhere
yeah.
else in the world, there's probably like some riddle of like,
Yep.
you know, when you see the shiny things, do this.
Was it weird how much Christmas themed shit there was? Because that felt Christmas themed, like a Christmas themed reindeer or some shit. And then you got fucking Santa Claus as the first merchant.
Oh yeah, the Santa Claus guy.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It was pretty fucking Christmassy,
And it's not even launching in time for Christmas.
right? Idiots. No, I'm kidding. Don't hate me for
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10.
Yeah, but I'm jazzed though.
Yeah, what's the difficulty / accessibility like? Like From Software gets a bad rap these days, and
It's not.
Elden
it's
Ring
not
will
hard.
probably get the same.
The easiest Souls game I've ever played, man.
It's the
Is there
easiest
anything
so
in there
far.
to
I mean,
make things easier.
Just the fact that you can choose what you want to do. I guess like if you don't want to fight that dragon, you can just walk in a different direction.
Go away. Yeah. Yeah, you just leave. Like there are loads of opportunities to just fucking bail on shit. And also, I guess we talked about it a little bit already, like the level to which like shields fucking soak up damage is fucking huge, which really like amplifies your ability to just sort of fucking stand there and pick your moments.
Yeah.
So the only thing it's really testing there is your patience.
And that's us using small shields.
Yeah.
So like if you put points into strength and stam and you got like a big shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be able to
tank actually it. Not take damage.
That's how I play.
Yeah,
shield and sword.
All dodge, baby. All dodge all the time. I was still all dodge all the time. I parried that one dude at the start and then I never fucking parried again. Fuck that shit.
No yeah, I parried like there's a couple bosses I parried the very first attack and then screwed it up afterwards.
Yeah.
But and then, you know, traditionally, like I guess in Demons and in Dark, sorcery was the unofficial easy mode.
Yep.
I
don't know if you cracked it out when you had the staff, but
I didn't
it might
really
be the unofficial somehow even easier mode in Elden Ring, man. Holy fuck!
So it's still easy.
It's 3 hits Pumpkinhead.
Wow, really?
From the fucking start, like
see,
from
there you
spawn.
Go. There you go.
I was like, I know the sorcery check's down there, so I want to go buy some sorceries.
Yeah.
But I've literally just spawned in. Oh, I got this stuff. Let's see what happens. Stab, dead. I'm like, holy fuck. I know, I think it was 4 hits. But yeah, still.
That's, you know, that's what the people talking about approachability in Dark Souls miss. It's like, there is an easy mode.
Yeah.
You just got to pick sorcery. Don't get right up in the boss's face. And also, like, all that normal stuff in Elden Ring, like all the normal, like, hold your shield up and then rotate around the enemy until they present you with a backstab opportunity. Like, all that is 100% in play. And I actually found the backstabs to be easier as well. Like, the window was more forgiving. So, yeah. Combat a little bit.
Technically, Sekiro is on easy until you ring that bell, and then it makes the game harder, right?
Until you ring that bell without realizing what you've done.
That's another one. Like, I mean, because this one has stealth, like you can basically Sekiro it up and make that your easy mode too.
Yeah, you can actually crouch and stealth your way through areas and shit. That's how you get past the tree sentinel, the golden knight at the fucking start, until you can get the horse.
If that's a goal,
a giant sword.
If you're not beating him straight up.
Sorry, I was too busy finding everything else.
I wouldn't know about that. I did try a lot of stealth though. Like when I was
I cannot believe you beat him without a horse. He was such a cunt. I beat him with the horse and I summoned. Did you summon the things?
I didn't summon anyone. Oh no, actually in one boss. So like, the guy who swings the axes around in the catacombs?
Yep.
The first time I beat him solo, but the second time I wanted to test out what those ashes do.
Yeah.
And so I summoned the big like samurai guy with the ashes. And holy shit, is that powerful. Hey, there's another easy mode.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy shit, he just held the aggro, he did lots of damage. Yeah.
So what I did was for the final boss of the preview, I summoned those 5 nobles.
Oh, I didn't see them.
It's one of like, I think it's like the default one you get or some shit. And I summoned the 5 nobles. And so the boss was like, he had 6 targets to choose from, and he was fucking switching targets constantly. He was not having a good time.
Imagine like doing that
my R2
and then doing sorcery. Like imagine just doing sorcery while he's picking between those targets.
Oh yeah.
That would be much easier.
Oh, you can choose. You can fucking organize your flasks. So instead of having fucking any flasks with like faith power or focus power, mana, you just get rid of all your mana flasks and you just go all health pots. And you just fucking roll around with your health pots.
Yeah, I did that.
Did you get that fucking mixie?
I did, but you know what? I forgot to use it.
Yeah, right. I made it so that I could get 50% of my health back plus 25% extra stamina. It was fucking fantastic. Nice. That was the first one I popped every single time I took any damage. If I took any fucking damage. When you went to when you finished the final boss fight, did you go through the main gate?
No, I took the side E.
There was another pretty interesting fight in there, but you get absolutely fucking walloped.
What is
stepping through that gate? It's just a giant dog. He's very quick.
Okay.
Plus, there's like 15 ballistas shooting at you, so
they love that, don't they?
Oh my god!
From Software loves that.
Holy shit!
They've repeated that so many times. They did it in Bloodborne with the one or whatever, the Reborn one, whatever it is, and then they did it in Demon Souls with the Tower Knight.
Yep. Fuck that one. Fuck Tower Knight. Actually, wound up being pretty easy, but
in the end,
annoying.
Damn, I missed out on a boss fight by taking the side path. I should have like.
Well, no, it wasn't a boss fight. It was basically the alternate version of fucking Swordsy up in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was just a wall past him, so it's not. You didn't even get the fucking crotch punch of you'll see more in the full version. It was just straight up a fucking. Well, I can't go this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah.
I liked the bit when you take the side path. It's quite extensive, like the section past the quote unquote final boss. Like, and I liked that whole bit. Like, there's this whole. I don't know what you'd call those guys, but they have their own style to them. They're like soldiers. They blow their horn if they see you, and a whole bunch of dudes come. They can call
like dudes with horns can call people to come help them out.
Yeah.
So you get a fucking, if you don't want to take on 7 billion cunts at once, you get a fucking sneak up and kill them before they can blow that shit.
And once you're inside their fortress, they're throwing fire bombs, and there's lots of big barrels. So you gotta like, I mean, you can speed run it. You can time it so you can speed run through the barrels and roll through them and not get hit. But yeah, very, very Dark Souls.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds
awesome.
like it's good. Is there anything that's not so good?
A bit of slowdown in parts.
Like frame hitching, a little bit.
Yeah. At weird times, like even in the middle of a boss fight.
Yeah. When you're in a
they've got 3 months, right? So
you're in a dungeon. There's nothing else around. For some reason, it's dropping frames. You're like, fucking odd.
Yeah.
I remember not now. Dark Souls 3, we got that like 6 weeks early or something like that. And there was that swamp section that was struggling. And then they, and I had that in my review as like, some performance issues in some areas, particularly this part. And they told us that like it's going to be fixed on day one. Like the day zero patch will fix that. And I jumped in and no issues. So I was like, all right, cool, done. So there's, could get fixed. Plenty of time.
I think like people might be disappointed, and it's really too early to call, but people might be disappointed in that the story is basically just Dark Souls, like
more of the same.
And when I say that, I don't mean like, because obviously everyone's going to compare everything to Dark Souls, and rightly so, but like every Dark Souls has kind of had the same story and the same themes, and I think it would be within people's rights to expect something a little different narrative-wise going into Elden Ring, because
they got George R. R. Martin on board to, I suppose, come up with the word tarnished.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, just to change the words. Well, that's what he does with names, isn't it? Like, Edard instead of like
Edward,
right?
He just changes words.
Or nuncle. He's like, what's a really old version of a fucking word? Oh yeah, we're going with nuncle.
Yeah. So
nuncle.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it's the same story and it's the same themes of like, all these cast outs coming back to the land to seek their time in the sun again, and then one of them might become an Elden Lord, and like that's the Dark Souls story with words changed. So I think people would have been right to expect something a little different, but
I thought the voice acting was really cool from the boss dude, Margit, the fucking fell. Fucking sounds rad. But the story's a little tame.
Yeah.
Like, well, same old.
I mean, but would it surprise you if you get to the end of this and it turns out it's a prequel or something like that?
It actually would.
It was set in the Game of Thrones universe all along.
Yes.
I think like I would be looking for, like, for me at the moment, I'm not expecting much from the overarching story because I guess, happy to be proven wrong. Maybe I will be, but the overarching story seems to be Dark Souls. So the thing that's going to save it about the story for me now is just the interwoven NPC storylines. Like that could still be very interesting and new.
Yeah, that dude you find in the canyon on the way to the fucking the catacombs. It felt like he was going in some places.
Yeah, I liked him. And he, like, I noticed his dialogue really subtly changed according to the stuff I had done. Like, whether or not you've fought the dragon, his dialogue is different.
Oh, I didn't go back to him.
And whether or not, or like, depending on what you've done in your invasion, his dialogue is also different. So, at one moment I killed the invader.
Yeah.
And at one moment I just, I walked a little bit too far in one direction and the invader just left my world. And that was unintentional, but then that guy changed his dialogue to, to have escaped so-and-so as opposed to have killed so-and-so. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So that was good. That was impressive.
I thought I don't know, like, I think you were the only online element that I experienced at all. I tried invading. I was running around for fucking ages.
Because everyone else you played with is just bots.
Like I just had that bot experience.
Yeah.
When I got invaded by that dude in the canyon, I'm like, fuck yes, finally.
Oh yeah. But it was an NPC invasion. I fully expected it to be NPC. Just because I looked at his name and his wardrobe and I was like, that's too cosplay.
Yep.
Like this is a fucking NPC. He's too in character.
Mr. Fancy Man.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a fucking ridiculous head that doesn't match his pants and like a like that would be a real player.
Yep. What else? I guess the only other thing is, like, speaking of NPCs, I did go around and kill every
NPC.
Dude,
that's a video. Oh no, they did specifically say you can't show killing NPCs.
Shit,
yeah. I was gonna say that would be like, what do you get from killing every NPC? I'd watch that.
It was sweet fuck all.
Oh really? Yeah. Not even any items.
No.
Shit.
No. Yep.
They might change that. They might change that in the final game. Yeah.
Do things respawn? Like enemies, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, enemies respawn when you sit at a bonfire.
Imagine trying to clear out the whole world, not resting at a bonfire. How cool would that be?
That'd be good.
Challenge run for all you crazy
Yeah.
streamers and speedrunners.
For sure.
All right.
Anyway, that's
Cool.
it.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Next year, early next year, February, at this point, because obviously
This
it got
weekend,
delayed.
if you made it into the network test, I believe we remain in the network test, John. Is that true?
Yes, we do. Our stuff carries over. I'm betting it's
Sweet.
just going to be the same thing.
I'm going to sit at the fucking entrance and invade cunts.
Gotta find
Ruin
something.
their
You've done everything else.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfuckers!
It's the Dark Souls experience.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, it's awesome. Early next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, and the last game we got here, Battlefield 2042. Obviously, Joab and I, big Battlefield fans, talked about it a lot here. Was in our top. Battlefield 5 was in our top 5 for that year it came out. Both of us. And we've had a chance to experience most of the review event that's happening at the moment. This is a 3-night review event that we're participating in, and this will go up at the time of the embargo for that. We've got one night left that we haven't played yet. So at the moment we played All Out Warfare, which is Conquest and Breakthrough, and night 2 was Hazard Zone, and night 3 will be Portal, which is the mixing different versions of Battlefield and having them fight each other and that sort of thing. So I think we'll talk about the first two as we get into it. Just a sort of heads up at this point, I think this might be the most controlled review event I've ever done, in terms of access and in terms of what we're doing with it. We've played it for 3 nights, but realistically, I think we've had about 5 hours, maybe 4 hours, sort of hands-on with it at this point. And I've not had a review event that sort of to this sort of control, like holding people's hands and that sort of thing. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Like, to give you an idea, I've done Call of Duty events where they're, all right, day 1 is the campaign, and you play the campaign and like nobody touches you. You can sit there for 10 hours, whatever, and that's what you do. And then day 2 is like, all right, we're gonna play some multiplayer. We're gonna run, team deathmatch, or we're gonna do between this time and this time, and then we're gonna do this other mode between this time and this time, or and then the next day we'll do zombies, or day 3 will be whatever you guys want to do type of thing. But this is completely different. I don't know. Is that sort of your experience, Joe?
No, it's fine. It reminds me a lot of the Battlefield 1 review event, which was the last Battlefield review event I did, or last Battlefield review, I think I did. I didn't do 5. I don't think. It reminds me of that in that, but it's different this time because I guess everyone is sort of at home. That was at a location. We were in the States. I guess there was a sense of professionalism involved because everyone there was a fucking professional. That
what
isn't occurring.
Who aren't professionals in this review environment?
Why would I? There are elements who I believe may not be taking this as seriously as they perhaps should. I suppose maybe they're waiting, like they're disappointed because they were supposed to be Twitch streaming on these 3 nights, and now they can't do that, and they're annoyed about it or whatever. But no, basically, yeah, you go in, and it was very similar to the Call of Duty event, right? Where they would just have like, oh yeah, we'll be doing this for this amount of time, and then this, like we're gonna switch to this mode, right? And then they would have the third day where you could do whatever, but at the same time, they were both like there were 3 days and like 8-hour sessions each day.
Yeah, that's not what we're doing.
Where they've paired this into 4-hour sessions across 3 days, and then it turns out day 2's 2.5 hours long, not 4, and then day 3's maybe 3 hours. We'll see.
Yeah,
and you're like, I don't know that this is enough time to actually experience this. Like, I wouldn't be comfortable writing a review based on this outside of the fact that I feel like something should go up on embargo to fucking warn people.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing, right? It kind of feels like they're doing it because they don't want us to play it.
They don't want us to have as much experience as we are comfortable with. Like, yeah, there's a deeply cynical element that could point to this and say it is a concerted effort to limit the experience to cast doubt on the review at the end. But it's really just a case of needing to manage expectations around the review.
So it's an actual review, not a preview session.
It's a review event, although I've seen a number of people call it a preview event.
Yeah.
And the game's out this fucking
media
this Thursday, and also we're theoretically playing the same build that will be out this Thursday, although they've also claimed that they've made fixes based on feedback.
Yeah, that's weird. None of what you're mentioning should happen in a review period. Absolutely. And it shouldn't happen in a preview period either, although it is more common to happen in a preview period.
Yeah.
And I guess, those same cynical people that you mentioned would say that the hope is that people don't feel comfortable enough criticizing the game because of the lack of time and experience involved, so they just end up writing like a dot point list of the game's features and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That also comes down to people that lack that experience as well. I think Joab and I are in a unique position where we've played enough of these past games where even though we've had a minimal amount of time with it, we can see the things that have changed or the new things that are in there like quite easily and compare them to, because we've had hundreds of hours of experience in Battlefield 5 or even Battlefield 1 and then like
Battlefield 3.
Like decades of playing these games and then coming to this one and being like, all right, we know how these things work. Here's what's new. Here's how things sort of behave differently, as opposed to somebody that's not played any of this stuff and it has to absorb all of that information from the onset and then only having 7 hours to do that. Whereas we can jump in and be like, all right, we get it. We know it's different. And I feel like I'm pretty comfortable in giving my opinion on it at this point. Even with 1 day left in terms of gameplay and whatnot, I don't know what that mode is going to be like, but for the fundamental core
can't
gameplay
be worth
mechanics,
$80.
Yeah, of those other modes that we've played, like I'm pretty happy to talk about them quite easily and give my criticisms about it.
Like, it's what also occurs to me is like, if anything, they've done themselves a disservice, and I suppose tinfoil hat time. This level of doubt might be what they're looking for, but I find it interesting that the best games of each day we had were the last games. The best game we had on Conquest was the last game we played at Conquest. The best game we had at Hazard Zone, the last game we played at Hazard Zone. Each time, right, it's sort of, it doesn't click. It's just we have played enough of it to start finding our own version of fun in this mode that I suppose technically it always existed, but we have to play around the intended playstyle experience because how many games of Hazard Zone did we play? 5?
How many games of Hazard Zone, yeah. Which were about 10 minutes each, if we were lucky to survive that
long. Plus matchmaking time, plus in a 2.5 hour, that's just a dog shit waste of time. But we'd started to carve out a path to have fucking fun in these modes. I don't think it's related to the nature of the modes themselves because we were avoiding what we'd already clearly defined as the pitfalls of each mode, right? I just think they've done themselves this service because if we'd been allowed to play it a little bit more, we absolutely could have continued to find the fucking fun in it and had more fun, which would have been to their favor, right? But instead, just as we were starting to have fun, they're like, well, we've turned the service off. Time for a Q&A with the game director, which I also don't think should be a part of any review event, but they did that at Battlefield 1 as well, actually. I did not participate.
I tried to find out why the game's bad, but they didn't answer my question. So instead, they answered a bunch of streamers' questions about what their favorite loadouts are.
Your favorite loadout?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Let's break it down, right? Battlefield 2042 is 3 different distinct modes. All-out warfare, Hazard Zone, and Portal. All-out warfare involves breakthrough and conquests. I didn't see any other modes within that, but I don't think the UI is very good. Breakthrough is basically Rush, but it's the worst version of Rush they've ever made. Rush, if you're not familiar, is a attack defense mode where you have a couple of points that the attacking team needs to capture and the defensive team needs to defend. And once they capture them, the map staggers backwards and you move on to the next attack and 2 attack points. In Breakthrough, in this version of Breakthrough, once a point is capped, the defensive team is able to cap it back again. Which I suppose makes sense because Battlefield 2042 has a high amount of mobility, but it makes it essentially, once you've got, they had us playing on fucking that sand map, and the fucking second point you get to has 3 different locations, 3 different cap points, and so what happens is the reverse of what should happen. Basically, the attacking team caps 1 point, caps a second point, and they then need to split their fucking team enough to cap the third while defending those 2 points, while the defensive team, to stop what is happening to them, all they need to do is cap one of those 2 fucking points or hold the third point. And so basically what's happening here is it's an impossible, it's an overwhelming task. There's no amount of fucking communication. Fucking Battlefield 2042 isn't some goddamn fucking esport where you got a fucking NFL coach on the sideline directing the 32 cunts on the fucking playing field on what they're supposed to do. There's none of that shit going on. It's fucking chaos. It's supposed to be chaos. That's how the fucking game works. So why the fuck would we need to cap all 3 fucking points at once? A, Like, you got two options here. Why are there 3 fucking points to cap? Or B, don't let them back cap. Don't let them cap their fucking points back. Fucking crazy shit. Like, you still get this giant clusterfuck of battle, of war on this 3rd point, right? Like, they just have to retreat back to the last fucking point. What the fuck is going on there? It's bananas. Breakthrough's fucking terrible. It is the worst implementation of the rush formula I have ever fucking seen. It is bad. Real bad.
I mean, there's interesting things in like Grand Operations did it in Battlefield 5, where it's a similar mode where you'd have to try and get these control points, and every time you did that, you'd get reinforcements. But then if you lost or you didn't successfully do it, it would then take you to the next map. And it'd sort of play out this story, right? Like, oh, they didn't win that, and so now this is how this map is set up. Maybe they don't have these types of reinforcements now, or maybe they successfully did that, and so now they've capped all these other points along this spot. Like, there was at least some sort of linear story, or like the progression was going from one map to the other, whereas this has nothing. Like, it's literally attack versus defense, and if attackers win, which probably won't happen, but if they win, the game ends, and that is it. If the defenders lose or whatever, like, there's no reversing sides or anything like that. It's win or loss, and that's it. Every single game that we played, the attackers lost. Like, every single game. I don't think
because look, I'm sure I'll be proven wrong within fucking 30 minutes, right? But there's no way for the attackers to win. It is an overwhelming task. It is so desperately lopsided in favor of the defenders that they just can't fucking do it. It's if you are going to have 3 points to capture, and you shouldn't ever have it on the last fucking point, so that you get to see the fucking map at all.
Yeah.
We never made it out of the
we were letting the other team cap points because
we were in defense, and we were literally letting the other team cap so that we could see more of this fucking map, because it was that desperately lopsided. It's fucking stupid, man. Holy shit.
Because people in the game were like messaging, being like, let's try and see the rest of this map. Clearly it's broken. Like, yeah, it's so lopsided towards defense, because all it takes is one squad to go around the back and cap it. Because you've now got a team of 60, it's 128 players, right? You've got 64 players on one team trying to defend 3 points or 2 points, and one team of 64 players, and all they're trying to do is just attack 1 point, right? And you're eventually going to break through as a defensive team.
There's no, it is so lopsided in that direction. Speaking of, like, four people, if you're going to double the fucking player size, I don't know why they didn't redo, like, go back to 5 for the squad size. I don't know why it's 4. I don't understand. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. 5, 6, even. Go all the way up to fucking 8. I don't give a fuck. Like, it should be more. It should be a higher fucking squad count, because the coordination can't exist. Like, and also one squad does a lot less. Like, is capable of a lot less when you are, like, restricted to just fucking 4 people. It was like four players. There's only 60 other players, and half of them are on your team, right? Now there's 124 other players, and half of them aren't on your team. Like, it's a massive fucking thing to overcome. So even when we were on attack, we were doing the stealthy sneak in madcap under their fucking noses, and basically changing the landscape of this battle. But what would happen in older battlefields is, when you do that, right, you could swing an entire fucking game by doing that, because they would have to send a giant amount of players to fucking do something about it, because they can't tell how many people are there. And if your squad's any good, you can, like, you're now in a very defensive position, so you can actually take on more than what you've got. You're killing time. You're holding the cap. Your team can actually accomplish some shit. Like, that's good stuff, right? But when it's so many more players, that opportunity just doesn't exist. And they've done nothing about it. It's like they haven't even fucking taken it into consideration. Yeah, breakthroughs. Yeah, terrible. Fuck breakthrough. Holy fuck. I will never play it again. Ever. 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 You could not pay me enough to play breakthrough again. That is a challenge. I dare someone to find how much money it would take.
I reckon
to
you
make
will play it on the first week.
I'm not going to play breakthrough. No, I won't. I'm dead serious. I'm not going to play breakthrough again. Anyway, then we play Conquest. Conquest is pretty good. Orbital wasn't a good map for demonstrating Conquest, but Conquest is pretty good. They have some massive problems with vehicles, and they haven't done anything about it since the beta, and it continues to be a huge problem. The vehicles in Conquest are disgustingly overpowered, and what I think has happened is
they're overpowered in Battlefield, not just Conquest.
Very true. They were overpowered in Breakthrough as well, but and Hazard Zone. But what I think has happened, right, is there is someone on the team who has correctly worked out that they're increasing the player count, so some rebalancing needs to occur. And so what they've done is they've increased the power of the vehicles, because obviously with double the players, you couldn't keep vehicles at exactly the same fucking vulnerability, because there's that many more fucking rockets going around, right? Except in practice, that's not what fucking happens. And so now helicopters take fucking too many fucking rockets to go down, but they're able to fucking murder everyone at will. And tanks take fucking 4 dumbfire rockets to the back to kill, but they're able to do whatever the fuck they want. And every vehicle regens without any fucking help. So auto regens health at all fucking times, really fucking fast. So all you need to do, you don't need to jump out and fucking repair tool that shit. Just go hide for a fucking second, and you're fine. It is ludicrous. Absolutely out of control.
And then you need someone in your team to have those gadgets. If you don't have the gadgets, you can't deal with them.
You can't do anything about them. You're fucked.
Yeah.
They change how many fucking gadgets you take into a fucking game, even though it's clearly the way it is for Hazard Zone, but it's not how it plays out in fucking Conquest. So yeah, you got to choose. Do you want a fucking AA rocket, or do you want a fucking dumbfire rocket? And if you choose either of those two things, you can't take anything else. You can't take ammo, you can't take health, you can't take a fucking repair tool, you can't take any of this shit. It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, and it's the other thing of all right, well, we've got a team of four people. We probably need at least a second person to have one of those things as well, so that if a tank does rock up, or if a helicopter does rock up, we can both deal with it, because one person's not going to be able to deal with it in time, probably before you either get shot or killed. And the helicopters, they've got flares, and then you fire a rocket, and then they've got another flare. And then you fire your third rocket, and they've already gone. They're out of there.
Yeah.
And they come back, and you don't have any way to refill.
You're out of ammo.
You're out of ammo.
Again, the best way to rearm is to redeploy, and that is just out of control. That is so ridiculous. And playing Hazard Zone last night, there were ammo stations all over the fucking place. Why aren't they in Conquest? Why are they not on every fucking flag? That's fucking crazy shit. Holy shit.
I'll tell you why, Joab. Because they've got specialists in the game. And there are specialists that have these abilities. They're able to call in ammo drops or redeploy people's loadouts and things like that. And so they've built this system around, we need to be a hero shooter. And in doing so, they've gotten rid of a bunch of features from the previous games that would that have been in there. Resupply stations have been in the game for ages. And so now you're not but previously you jump in, you'd go cap a point, you'd done it successfully. All right, now we load up on ammo and get all our supplies back and our health and all that sort of stuff. But here, unless you've got somebody that has that specific loadout that has brought ammo with them or has brought the redeploy kit from that specialist, then you're kind of in trouble. You have to go either kill people, and killing people, the time to kill has been extended because they're on this philosophy of wanting players that are new to the game to have a better time. So how do they do that? Well, we up the time to kill so that they're not dying as quickly. That means that you're using more bullets. And so in previous games, what took maybe four to 6 bullets to kill now takes 6 to 8. 2 headshots will probably not kill someone most of the time. I've got video clips of getting 3 headshots to kill someone. And so now you kill someone and they drop ammo, but they drop 15 bullets. And that's what you get as your reward for killing someone. All right, we can't do much with that. They've fucked with the recoil in the game. You've got to be quite close range to be able to kill someone successfully. You can go a whole clip and not kill someone at range because just the recoil is... We had one gun that was broken while we were playing. I think that's going to be fixed at some stage, but the AK was one of the 4 assault rifles that you can pick, and it's flat out broken. The recoil, something's wrong with it. They've screwed it up, and I don't know if it would be fixed on day one, but it was unusable while we were playing it. And this echoed throughout the entire review. I thought it was just me. I was complaining the entire time we were playing, being like, this gun's fucked. Are you guys having this problem? I thought I was crazy. And then I sent these guys some video footage and was like, look at this thing. It is nuts. But eventually I looked at they've got a feedback thread in the review event where a bunch of streamers are complaining about the game because that is all anyone's doing at this point. And other people were saying, something's broken with this gun. Like it's botched. But I don't think it's just that gun. I think something's wrong with all the weapons. Something is off with the recoil and all the guns. It's like a pain in the ass to handle. I know how to fucking pull back on recoiling guns, but these guns are... Something's going on.
No, you know what it is? It's your attachments. You got to focus on
the attachments. Don't do shit in this game.
No, dude, they do. They absolutely do. I put all vertical recoil attachments on the stock standard fucking M4 or whatever it is, M5 I think, and it is a laser.
I've got attachments on all of my guns, and they all behave like shit. There are attachments that have the same stats, and I don't know what the differences are.
That mean nothing. Yeah, that shit means nothing. I can't get anything out of the fucking stat bars. I can't work out any of it.
It's like +5 handling, and then it'll be like plus horizontal recoil and minus vertical recoil, and then you go to the next attachment, and it's +5 handling, plus horizontal, and you're like, it's the exact same thing. Like, what is it going to do? It doesn't give you any information as to what, and that's not just like one, like multiple guns have the same thing where you look at the attachments and they read like they do the same things stat wise, but you don't, like, obviously it's doing something else, but it doesn't tell you that in the information. And so you don't know what you're using them for. Anyway, I think the gunplay is not as good as what is in, like, I fired up Battlefield 5 yesterday to get a comparison of performance, and I was like, the gunplay in that game is so good compared to what I'm experiencing here. I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I can actually kill people in Battlefield 5 and make it like, it feels good. Whereas in Battlefield 2042, it feels like I've killed somebody. It doesn't feel good because I'm like, that took too fucking long and I've wasted all my ammo doing it. And it just doesn't feel fun at all. I think they've ruined the game, the gun game in it. The gun combat is not, I don't think it's good.
It doesn't feel great, no. No, I totally agree with that. I just think that you can get around it with attachments, and I think it's designed to be a part of their progression system that we didn't get to experience because they gave us everything unlocked from the fucking outset.
Yeah,
I don't know,
because they were only going to let us play 4 hours.
Hey, can I talk about something real quick? You said when you first saw Battlefield 2042 map reveals that you thought these maps were way too open. And I was like, nah, it's probably not like that. You're probably wrong. I'm sure there's enough natural cover. I was wrong, and you were right. These maps are, by and large, a fucking nightmare. Just acres of empty fucking land with zero fucking cover. And what I genuinely don't think the engine is capable of handling 128 players. I don't think it is. And I think what they've done is they've removed a lot from the maps to try to make it so that it can handle it at an acceptable fucking network rate. But yeah, just
That helps vehicles as well, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. Like they can see people fucking all over the place.
It's barren. Like it's just
yeah.
You look at a map from Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1 and just compare them. How flat these levels are. I think Orbital is probably the most, like, it's got hills and there's some verticality to it. Whereas I think some of the other levels, there's verticality. There's skyscrapers and there's like a shipyard in one of them. But I mean, like, the actual terrain is pretty flat for the most part. You think about some of the levels in Battlefield 1. I can't remember them off the bat, but you've got that giant map that is on like a hillside, right? And there's bunkers and all sorts of things, and whereas this is just like it feels it just, I don't know what's happened. Like, where is the design in any of this? Where is the cover or whatever? Like, people complained about that stretch of runway in Orbital, which is where the rocket is, and they were like, oh, it's okay, we've put some cover there, and they've put some sort of crane, but it's in a small section of that runway, and the rest of the runway is all open. But I think in terms of map design, Orbital is the most interesting in terms of like natural cover. I think the rest of them are bad in terms of like what you can get away with on those maps.
I think Orbital is sort of bad all over, whereas the other maps outside of what's that fucking ice map? What are the ice maps called?
Let me get my notes. Did I write it down? I thought I wrote it down.
Well, outside of that map, right?
Breakaway.
The rest of them, Breakaway. That's it. Yes. Outside of that map, the other maps are good in spots. Have really cool parts, really cool elements, places you can go for some really interesting fucking gameplay. Surrounded by nothing. Yeah, which I guess like results in a case of like you have to determine what you think is better or worse. I would prefer to just hang out at one interesting location on an otherwise generally bad map, or do you want like something that is let's say Orbital is an average map, right, across the entire board versus really good part but overall bad. That's the question, I guess. A lot of these maps ask is what pick your fucking poison, basically. Like, yeah, just not successful in the design phase. It just staggers me that Miramar, right, could be a flat open fucking desert and have such interesting fucking terrain, and meanwhile Battlefield is just fucking flat sand dunes all over the fucking place, or flat ice. What do you call those things? Those big ice things? Glaciers, yes.
Yeah.
Like all over.
I think that's the worst map design they've done, hands down. Like, it's bad. I don't think it's good. There's, I've got the map list of like Battlefield 5, Hamada, the giant like desert with the broken bridge in the middle. There's like verticality. There's different levels of verticality. There's so much going on there. Like, there is nothing like that in Battlefield 2042. And that's, I think, is Hamada the biggest map they've got in 5? I feel like it was. It was pretty big.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
But even like you compare that to Twisted Steel, that's the one where that's a pretty flat map, right? But it still feels like there's natural cover all over the place. There's swamps and there's that giant bridge in the middle. where the big broken bridge that people fight on, and there's houses sort of centered around the outskirts of it, and like it just like it feels like a location, but everything else here is just like I was making a joke that which map was it? Hourglass. It feels like a fucking level out of Spider-Man 2. Just these barren like skyscrapers.
Yeah.
I don't like the map design. No. At all. I just don't think it's interesting.
Nope.
They're also doing things in the maps, these environmental big events that happen. We saw the tornado in the lot of the trailers, and that was Orbital, the one that but basically that tornado shows up on seems like a lot of the maps as well. I think it's cool to look at in terms of that's cool, but I don't think it adds anything in terms of the gameplay. I don't know, like what is it there for other than it looks cool?
I think it's just to look cool. Like that seems to be the fucking modus operandi is, hey, if it looks cool, it'll look cool. It'll look cool on stream or some shit. I don't fucking know.
This is my point, right? We've come from a place where they had, like, a couple years back, they did the Levolution stuff, and you had this giant skyscraper that would fall and would change the scope of the battlefield, right? All of a sudden, the environment is different, whereas this is a fucking tornado comes through, and you fly in it. If you want to go in it, you can't really do much. It just sucks you up and off it goes. And then the tornado leaves, and that's it.
They're trying to, like I said this months ago, right? They're trying to, it's inflation in the battlefield moment economy. They are trying to create currency in the battlefield moment economy and inject it into the game. That's what these weather events are supposed to do, is create battlefield moments.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so epic. But what happens is that they don't actually, it doesn't work that way. That's not how battlefield moments work. And it's never functioned that way. And they made that mistake in Battlefield 1, and they paired it back for Battlefield 5. And for whatever reason, it, like, legitimately, I'm scared. If you read this in the OzGamers review, I want you to know that Nate said it first, and I've simply stolen it off him. But it legitimately feels like this is the last Jedi of Battlefield games, where they've just like, oh, well, you thought we were going to zig, now we zag. Yeah. We're subverting expectations. We're doing the opposite of whatever the fuck you think we should do in a Battlefield game. Because that's what it fucking feels like.
But, like, a lot of people liked The Last Jedi. I just don't see a lot of people liking this.
Maybe we're old. Maybe we're old.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, I'm just, look.
Yeah, like, it's a bad example. I think it's a bad example.
I get what you're saying, though, yeah.
But on top of that, like, The Last Jedi, I don't want to talk about Star Wars.
Don't get fucking locked in on the Star Wars part.
It does things that are interesting. I don't think anything the Battlefield 2042 is doing is interesting. You talked about Battlefield moments. The amount of stuff that has been removed from this game that was I talk about this in my review, compared to, like, the last couple of games. I've got a list of stuff, like weapon mounting. You can't lean anymore in the game. They've removed fortification and building of fortification. That was like if you went to an area in the game and it had been fucking destroyed by tanks, and all of a sudden there used to be a house here, you could now you could build like sandbags and walls, and like you had some sort of cover, or you'd like dig a trench, and now you got a giant trench everywhere, and you get points for doing that. Like, you're now creating your own your own sort of cover in this area, which would have been nice to have in this game, considering there is not a lot of it. But like, that is gone. They've gotten rid of
as if the world would evolve.
Yeah. They've removed a bunch of the Joab said it before, the ammo resupply stations that we were talking about. They've gotten rid of the suppression system for people that wanted to play support and use an LMG, or people who were just not good at shooters. The reason they put that suppression system in was to make a way for people that were behind cover, not be able to pop up and just snipe someone in the head, but also for people that weren't good at shooting to give them points, to be like, hey, I'm contributing, I'm doing something, even though I'm not hitting anything, at least I'm suppressing somebody. And I think it works well. It's in Hell Let Loose, and it works well in Hell Let Loose. And it's a cool effect. They've gotten rid of that. They've gotten rid of the requisition points and reinforcement system from the last couple of Battlefield games, which rewarded players for playing the game and playing the objective, which created Battlefield moments because you were able to call in vehicles, or you were able to call in resupply drops to be able to give your team health or ammo, or you could call in a JB rocket and just nuke the fucking site, right? And
I still watch that video where they called in the rocket just for me on my fucking AA tank. Like, I'm out in the middle of a field doing nothing, sitting there, and they call in the rocket just to fucking murder me and only me. 40,000 WEC points just to kill me because I'd fucked up their air game so hard. It was fantastic. It's still one of my proudest fucking Battlefield moments. It's fantastic. That's some shit. That's when you know you've done some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've got a system that rewards players for playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, by incentivizing them to go cap objectives, and then giving them some sort of system that allows them to spend those points and get something cool out of it and potentially get one of those Battlefield moments, but they've deleted it and not replaced it with anything. So now you're earning points that don't matter in the game for doing these things. And there's no reason to go do these things anyway. There's no reason to go capture points when I can just sit on a fucking hill and snipe, and because it doesn't matter. Like, they're not incentivizing anybody to go do any of these things that people should be doing. And it's just like, that is a thing that repeats through the game. All these systems they have removed, not replaced them with anything, and just like sort of shoved this game out the door that I don't think is ready to be played. Like, it should have been delayed at this point. It runs like, it doesn't run well. We haven't talked about that. It runs like crap. I don't think anybody has had a good sort of solid experience with it in the conquest mode. We played some Hazard Zone and it ran better, but still not great. There's some sort of performance problem going on with the conquest and breakthrough games where it tells you you're getting a decent frame rate, but it's really sluggish. There's something happening there. There was people with 3090s complaining about the game, saying that, like, it says I'm getting 160 frames, but it doesn't feel like 160. Like, it feels like 40. And that's been my experience. It tells me I'm getting like 90. It doesn't feel like 90. It feels like 50 or 40.
I said this first, and I'll say it again. I think it's the engine's not able to fucking handle that many players. And
then why is it saying it's getting 90?
Because it is getting that many frames.
Yeah.
But it's not being reflected in the server experience, in the ticks, in the fucking in the entire fucking networking experience. It's not being reflected. So it's like holding it up. That's what I think is happening, because literally everyone had a better experience in Hazard Zone, where it's only 32 players. Literally everyone.
Run pretty good.
Which is insanity. But it does feed into my continuously holding firm theory that Battlefield 2042 was originally a Hazard Zone game that they crammed into being a conquest Battlefield experience. I think this was built from the ground up to be Hazard Zone first, and then everything else later. And
see, I'd agree with you, but I just don't think the Hazard Zone game is interesting anyway.
But that doesn't change. Yeah, no, that doesn't change the fact that I think I'm right about this. The fact that Hazard Zone, because what they've done with Hazard Zone. So, have you played Tarkov, Jung? Escape from Tarkov?
No, not really.
Hunt Showdown?
No, I haven't really played it.
Did you ever go to the Dark Zone in the Division?
Oh yeah.
It's basically that, right? You go in, you get these things, these objective things, and you got to fucking extract. But the problem they've made with Hazard Zone is the same problem that the Dark Zone had, in that there aren't any fucking stakes, or the stakes are so low that they don't fucking matter, right? In Tarkov and Hunt, there's this concern that you'll lose your character and your equipment and all this kind of shit. But in Hazard Zone, none of that fucking matters. And so you really just go in for some sort of, I don't know, vaguely objective-based team deathmatch system, or like a battle royale game where the fucking loot phase has been eliminated. Like, that stuff, it just doesn't work because there are no fucking stakes. They've made a fundamental, like, I think if in the first place, right, you got your fucking specialists in some sort of fucking gacha game style system, right, and it was built from the ground up with that in mind, and you were fucking, I don't know, increasing your fucking specialists, and if they died, they lose a fucking rarity system or some fucking garbage, then, like, I would have hated it, but it would have been more interesting because stakes would have been involved. There would be something at risk for going in. As it is currently, you go in and you lose. Like, if you spent money equipping your character, then you lose the money, the Hazard Zone bucks that you spent. And that's fucking it. That's all you fucking lose. And it doesn't fucking... You don't even lose all that. You lose, like, fucking... You get to keep 30%. You get, like, a 30% refund, which you can increase to fucking 50% if you spend more money. I don't know why the fuck you would. And, like... That's a fundamental error that... like ripples its way through the rest of the fucking Hazard Zone and makes it feel like nothing you're doing matters. And so you have to like rejig your interpretation of the game so that you can, I guess, contextualize it in a way to make it interesting, which is what we were eventually doing. And we were just sort of like fucking with people in that last game. We were playing on fucking Breakaway, and we were literally just fucking taking potties and hunting people down and chasing them down. We had a car. Cars are fucking ridiculous. I cannot believe this game is going to fucking launch with vehicles being as powerful as they are. It is fucking heinous. You jump in a car, again, you basically are in a tank.
You've got to buy equipment to take him with you. And so now all of a sudden you've got to have people in your team with rocket launchers to be able to deal with cars.
With one person had the thing to find the drives, and everyone else was going in with rocket launchers because that was the only way to deal with with cars. That was the only way to fucking deal.
So you have to have it with you.
You can't pick up loot on the fucking ground. I don't know why you wouldn't have a loot system in there. But yeah, so that was the only... Because cars, right, you're armored, you drive up, and you can just fucking... You got a minigun that minces everyone. I parked our car on top of a mountain 600 meters away, but because it was a fucking bright white Antarctic map, we could see everyone, and we knew they had to come in our direction to get to the extraction point. So I've parked it like literally on top of a fucking mountain, and I jumped in the fucking gun, and I was just fucking hammering these. It was the filthiest fucking shit that I would ever fucking do until 2 minutes later when I landed next to the extraction point and called in a robot dog that has that like is an AI that murders people, and they are also impossible to fucking deal with. Because they've got no fucking concept of fucking power levels. It's almost like when they increase the TTK on players, right? It's almost like they didn't fucking give people more health. What they did was they fucking made weapons do less damage, right? And so now none of the weapons do any fucking damage to anything. And so a robot dog can run around, and because it's got auto aim, because it aims like a fucking bot, it just fucking murders everyone. So I've got a clip of me and Nate hiding in the fucking extraction plane, and I'm just like throwing fucking my grenades out the door. So they run up to try to get to the door to shoot us, and they just run into grenades. And then this fucking robot dog is sitting there fucking lasering them. And I get like 3 kills in the last fucking 2 seconds of this fucking match. Because the robot dog does whatever it fucking wants. And like, we didn't have to pay to bring a robot dog in. That would be even more disgusting.
Hey,
we just found
points. Like, there's a system for it that was in the last game.
And they when they die, they re-up. They're not like a one-time use. Like our car, I called the car in and we drove over to that fucking oil rig, and then it despawned for whatever reason. But I was able to call it back in again. And the same with the robot dogs. We had 2 robot dogs we could have called in.
Yeah.
You just keep finding these fucking things. It's insane, man. Like, I just don't understand how they could be doing any of the shit they're doing. It is out of control.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about there's like AI.
You got this AI, yeah.
Yeah, and you get credits for killing the AI, and every time you do that, you then are able to take them outside of the game with you, and that's what you use to spend more money on. So if you don't extract in the game, at least you're getting something out of it to take with you into the next one. But I think there's too many AI for what the game can sort of handle in terms of its time to kill again. You're spending so much ammo on trying to down these things that once you get to a fight where there's another player or another team coming in, you've either got to have the supply station nearby or somebody on your team that can give you ammo again. And I think that
the AI is overtuned as well. It's too fucking.
They can see you from so far away.
Too aware, and like that's what they've missed from like. I know Escape from Tarkov scavs are kind of lasers, but like Hunt Showdown, you can like walk all the way up to something and fucking kill it silently, and that's a big part of how that game works. Like that's a big part of the fucking gameplay. Is like making sure you don't make noise, because noise alerts other hunters, and you are fucking hyper aware of that, and it like plays into the fucking tension of it, right? And that's sort of how Tarkov works in the same sense, in that you're worried that like the shots of the scabs, like you want to take that shit down quick, because each and every shot is like another fucking ringing another dinner bell, like another fucking alert, right? It's not the case in Hazard Zone, because you fucking spend so many bullets trying to fucking kill anything. And like in this case, I think it's something to do with fucking engagement ranges, because like it seems like sniper rifles are able to take shit down from fucking anywhere, and they do it pretty quickly. But like anything less than like even DMRs have only like 100, 200 meters of fucking effective range, and after that they're fucking pointless. They're super powerful inside that range, but like outside of it, they're just not fucking good. I headshot a dude that, like, you know, those dudes were standing on top of the fucking on the big tower in Hazard Zone.
Yeah.
Right at the start, I headshot one of them and didn't fucking phase him. He just stood there and kept fucking shooting at us. Like, he didn't give a fuck. Like, because I got the crosshair to change colors when I get a headshot. Yeah, didn't give a fuck. Same. Did not. That's care.
Just a flesh wound.
Say again.
It's just a flesh wound.
Tis but a flesh wound.
But I said this in the beta, right? It takes too many bullets to kill someone with a headshot. It shouldn't take 3 shots.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. It's very frustrating. But like if they like, I think Hazard Zone. I think all of Battlefield 2042 is fixable. To be honest. It would take 6 months at least, but I think it's all fixable. I think they could turn this fucking ship around. I do not think, like, it would. The problem is there's no part of the game that doesn't need fucking fixing. That's the thing, right? You need to fix so much of this game to get it into a state that I think would be
playable,
fun,
playable. But even then, I think that there's so much of it missing that would made the games interesting before. Like, it just feels like we've gone 15 years in the past, where they have, like, what is new in this game? What is new? They've put a T system in the game where you can you can equip your modifications and your add-ons on the weapon on the fly, which is bizarre to me, because now you can take in like a grenade launcher, a fucking armor-piercing bullets, high impact bullets, a 2x scope, a 4x scope, a 6x scope, and you are like changing these things on the fly, right? It's just so, like, that is the one thing they've put into the game that is sort of new, and I don't know if I fully agree with it at this point.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I think it's a good addition. Once you get your head around it, I think it's cool. Like I was using it on Hazard Zone, rolling around with the M5, and I've got the option that like by default it's got the red dot, but when I'm trying to fight some shit a couple like 100 meters away, I switch to the fucking scope rifle, and I think that's pretty cool. I think like beyond that, like it's basically canted sights. That's the problem, right? Like you could just have a button for canted sights, and it'd be essentially the fucking same.
Yeah,
but
I like it because I like it for certain things. When like, oh, there's a helicopter coming, I got to switch to armor piercing rounds and shoot the helicopter. But then I shoot the helicopter, and I have no fucking idea what is going on. Like it's telling me I'm hitting it, but am I doing any damage? Like how much damage am I doing? In previous games, you'd come up and it'd say like +4, or you've gotten 4 points because you did 4 damage, or eventually you've done 28 damage, and I have no concept of what damage I'm doing to these. Like I must have wasted about 150 bullets on this chopper. It killed me, and it said that I'd done 7 damage, and I'm like, well, okay, fair enough. What was the point of that? Like that is the whole game. I just have no concept of what is anything that is going on, because it's just such a bad job of feedback. When someone in the team dies in Hazard Zone, someone on the other team dies, like I don't get a notification saying that they've been squad eliminated. Like sometimes
it's a voice line, right? Like
sometimes it's regulated to like a voice line, other times it just doesn't happen. I didn't know because Joab had to tell me it happened because his character said it. Or if you get a knock, you don't know if you've knocked them. There's no indication that you've knocked them, and so all of a sudden there's 3 people on the ground, and you're like, all right, well, where's the 4th? It just does such a bad feedback of giving you any information as to what's going on. In Warzone or in PUBG, like you've knocked them, it comes up, it tells you. If if you get a squad wipe in Battlefield Conquest, in Battlefield 5, it tells you when you've squad wiped somebody. None of that is here. It's just there's too many things that have been. It feels like a game they've built on a brand new engine from the ground up, and all the stuff that was in the last 3 games just haven't made their way in.
To work on the engine,
But instead, it's the other way around. It's the same fucking engine, and all this stuff has been removed, and nothing has been put in that's intuitive or interesting to make the gameplay like worth checking out. Like, why would I want to play this game when I can go play Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1, other than it's got modern weapons at this point? But I don't think the gunplay is better. It's bizarre to me. It's so weird. The bugs, we had tons of bugs. Like we said, it runs like crap. There was bugs where we couldn't revive people. I had bugs where I'd reload a weapon and it wouldn't put the bullets into the gun. I've got it on video. I found a clip of it happening. I think Joab might have had it. Yeah, Nate said it happened to him.
I'm not sure.
Bugs where you couldn't revive players. I had
like the whole pressing E to interact with stuff seems really off. When I was playing as the turret guy, I was having a real fucking tough time of picking my turret back up. Like I'd have to do it multiple times. It just wasn't registering that I was fucking pressing it, which is just infuriating and not good when you're under fire. Like that's a real problem. The reload one is probably the worst.
Is it? We were told not to use the specialist anymore because the specialist is broken.
That's true. My bad. Yeah,
one of the
the shield specialist. Not only is he invincible, which is how it works in basically every game with a shield. You have to get around to the side of them to actually do something. But his shield reflects bullets back, so they do damage when you shoot at him, which is insanity. And he can bash, and he doesn't want to hit kill with his shield. They had one of the staffers was like literally just sitting in a corner, invincible. And like in other games, you throw a grenade behind them, and it explodes, and it does damage, and allows you to kill them. In this, that doesn't work. I think the grenade can roll past the other side of the shield, and so like clip through the shield and not do any damage. So yeah, that's so dumb, just so dumb. So yeah, that's pretty heinous. That's definitely the worst. My bad. The reload one, though, did have my biggest what the fuck yell out moment, but my shadow play wasn't recording my mic for some reason. So it's just a video of me running up, not shooting at a guy, and you have to like fucking look down at the bottom corner and see that I never fucking reloaded my dry gun. Like, oh my god.
Other things I want to complain about, because I love doing it. The UI is horrendous. Like getting any information from that scoreboard is a challenge. It's that thing we've talked about, Joab and I, where they want everybody to feel like they're having a good time, and so it doesn't show you any meaningful information other than your team. They have put when we played the alpha or beta, whatever they called it, it was just your team, right? They were showing in that scoreboard. Now they're showing, it looks like both teams, but you still can't see any meaningful information. It doesn't show you who's in that squad, how many kills they've got. It just shows you squad 1 has 55 kills and they've got 4 assists, or like there's now no longer any way to be like, oh, this person's cheating because they've got 150 kills and 1 death. Or this person is in a plane, and so you know to go like do these specific things. It hides all that stuff from you, and you can't see everybody. It's only like, I don't know, 8 teams or something. It'll show you. Everyone else is, the UI is ugly. It looks like crap. All you need to do is look at the options menu, and trying to put things on or off in the options menu is like a guessing game of like, did I just enable DLSS or is it off? And it'd be 5 minutes of us looking at the screen being like, I can't tell. I don't know. Like, whoever designed that UI probably shouldn't have a job. I know that's mean to say, but it's fucking terrible.
Yep.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's really hard to fucking... The readability is for shit. Yeah.
It's a terrible thing. There's the weapon selection is, I think, lackluster. There's 4 ARs in the game. I think previous Battlefield games have launched with Battlefield 4 was like 10 ARs or something like that. There's not a big selection. Obviously, I talked about it. We had 1 AR that wasn't working. The other one was a burst fire AR. So technically, we had 2 ARs to choose from while we were playing. The way you sort of put attachments on a bunch of these guns in the menu isn't very well done. It's kind of unintuitive. It's strange. Too many clicks to do things, and even to move things around, you've got to click a button and click another button and then press confirm, and then you got to go back and then you go to the next thing, and it's just like it's a mess. Like, you'll wait in a lobby for a game and you're just looking at a screen and you can't do anything on the screen. It's just like waiting for players. You can't fiddle with your weapons or anything. They have done a good change in terms of you can go in and modify your loadouts while in the actual game, which is good. Before, you had to go out of the game and do it in the main menu, but now it's on the fly. You can do it. That's great. But yeah, it's like, it blows my mind that this doesn't feel like a DICE-made Battlefield game. It feels like they were making what Joab said, either Hazard Zone or a free-to-play game, and this is what they've come out with. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been released in this state. It's not.
I don't know why. I don't know why you won't just accept that I was correct about the Hazard Zone.
Because I don't think you are. If Hazard Zone was good, I would have been like, yeah, cool. But it's not. It's not good. I think it's a good mode. It's so bare bones.
Why do you think it's impossible that they might be bad at making a game?
Because 5 and 1 were good, and it's the same fucking designers on this game.
What else of Battlefield 2042 is good that makes you think that they're on this shit?
No, I'm saying that 5 was good.
Right.
And 1 was good.
Right.
But
that doesn't change the fact that none of Battlefield 2042 is any good, is it? Does it?
I think a lot of it is not good. I think it's a super less than generic shooter.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we wrap things up? We haven't played the last session of this.
We haven't played Portal,
but I don't think it's going to change my mind.
It's not going to save this game, but I think it could be pretty fun and interesting. I have some faith that it could be intriguing enough to make it at least an interesting playing experience. I don't think it's going to make it worth the purchase, but fuck me, I got these plants in my office, and the plants have attracted gnats.
Oh.
And so I don't know, like I keep seeing these gnats, and I keep trying to grab them and kill them. So many fucking bananas, man.
Yeah. That's what's causing your camera to play with the foreground and background so much.
Me grabbing at these gnats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is too. That's good.
Are you gonna check out any Battlefield Jung, or is it in your wheelhouse at all?
I think I'm just not gonna have the time. I do love the franchise, but
did we sell you on it, or?
Yeah, after all that praise.
Yeah.
Also, just like I don't know, I looked at it before and it didn't look very futuristic to me.
Oh yeah.
So
it's not futury enough.
Yeah, it was like
you want laser guns.
It was like pretty much Battlefield 2021.
You wanted Battlefield 2142 again. Battlefield 2143.
I'll just go and play Battlefront 2.
Oh yeah, that's pretty futury.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah,
I mean,
no, I won't have time. I don't think
the most futuristic thing they've got is the specialists. The these hero characters that have.
Oh yeah, we do.
Wall hacks. One of them has wall hacks, and one of them's got a wingsuit and a drone and things like that. That's probably
so awesome. Wingsuit's probably my favorite thing in Battlefield 2042 because you can do it basically off like a ledge the height of my desk, but you can if you swoop correctly, you can actually get a lot of height and then climb while wingsuiting. That's my favorite thing in the entire fucking game.
Yeah,
which might be an extreme indictment of Battlefield 2042 overall. But yeah, one of the characters has wall hacks. Ridiculous.
Yep.
Why? Anyway. We'll be
playing a bunch this weekend.
Hell it loose.
Maybe. Yeah, play that.
If they fucking give us codes, because I'll tell you what, I'm not giving them money for it. I will not be giving them any money for this.
I mean, the thing is, it's a Battlefield game, but there's no scale anymore. Like there's no more scale. You play a game like Hell Let Loose, and when an artillery shell hits the ground, or when someone does like one of those bombardments, and like it's like boom, boom, and like there's just dust kicking up everywhere, and you see this giant like explosion line coming towards you, and you're like, "Fuck, I've got to get out of here!" Like there is nothing like that in Battlefield anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
Like they've. Yeah. What? There's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so disappointing.
It's very disappointing. Hell Let Loose, shooter of the year. Well done.
Yeah, easy. All right, let's smash through some news quickly. There ain't a lot here. To kick off with, we've got Peter Jackson has sold his Weta Tech assets to Unity for $1.6 billion. Weta's obviously a FX house that's worked on stuff like Lord of the Rings, I guess is their big one. They do a bunch of other things.
Heaps of stuff.
Yeah, a big pickup for Unity, I think. This allows them to put a lot of that technology into, their engine, or at least
huge.
Take a bunch of that stuff, it's big.
When I look at the announcement, it kind of looks to me like how to say NFTs without saying NFTs. Because they're using a lot of the same language. They're using a lot of the metaverse language, but they didn't actually say NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about it like that. That metaverse stuff is something else.
Yeah, I think everyone's got their own version of what the metaverse is, but it looks like if I'm right about that, then Unity's version of what the metaverse is maybe making more 3D assets available to more developers, either attached to NFTs or purely in the asset store without NFTs.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a few years before anything comes to that, though. Next up, we got Among Us. It has added their new update, which brings the introduction of roles, which is new. And also, they've pumped in a new set of cosmetics in there, like a free track and a paid track. Basically, the roles entail that the crew members now get a random chance of getting assigned roles, and that could be either the scientist who can check anybody's vitals, to see if they're alive. Engineer is able to use vents, and the guarding angel will be a crewmate that dies first, is able to cast a protective shield on top of alive people, and if they time it right, it can negate a kill from an imposter. And then there is also a role that we've talked about before on here for the imposters, which is the shapeshifter that allows them to disguise themselves as another crewmate, either alive or dead. What do you guys think? Do you play any Among Us, John?
Never.
No.
Oh, you never played it?
Never.
It's fun. It's a fun game. I still think adding more roles is a mistake. I don't think it will add to the experience in a meaningful way that won't just dilute what made Among Us really work. I know that they need to do that's not how it works when you've got these obsessed. It's very easy for me to say that because I don't play a lot of Among Us.
Yeah.
I dip in every now and then, and it's enough for me. I'm sure people who play the fuck out of Among Us will be really welcoming these new things, but in my opinion, on the other hand, I can just fucking turn off the roles.
Yeah,
Easy
you can.
peasy.
You can tweak them. There's settings and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, you should definitely check out some Among Us, John. It's a very fun,
Good fun.
social deducting game.
Yeah.
And the last piece we've got here is Devolver Digital has gone public. They're a tradable company now. Sony has picked up 5% stock in them. Apparently, Devolver Digital, this public thing went pretty well for them. Very, very well. They've also acquired a bunch of studios. Crow Team, who works on Talos Principle, Serious Sam, some of those games. I think, aren't they making Talos Principle 2 as well? Isn't that a thing that's going on right now?
I thought I heard
Yeah,
something
that'd be
about
awesome.
that, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe heard an announcement about that ages ago and then haven't
Nothing.
heard anything since, and I kind of
Vaguely
forgot about it.
remember that, yeah.
Yeah. They've also picked up Dodge Roll, who did Enter the Gungeon, Nerial,
Cool.
that made Reigns. I never played that. And Firefly Studios that do the Stronghold series. So a couple pickups there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Devolver Digital does interesting things. They've always put out interesting games, and
I want to play Death's Door. I still haven't played Death's Door. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably like Death's Door. You're a fucking Zelda dork.
Yeah, it looks soulsy.
No, it's not Soulsy.
Not
But it's
soulsy?
very Zelda-y.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll be happy. Either one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there you go. That's the news. Not a whole lot.
Cool.
Smash through it quick. Any questions, Joab, that you want to get through quickly? Or is that it?
I think we don't have any questions this week.
It's
We
easy.
do not. I'll tell you what. Based on last week's question, JB was like, "Do you miss being part of the cycle of hype, being part of the community when a big hyped game comes out?" I was fucking fucking bouncing off the walls, wanting to talk to someone about fucking Elden Ring this entire fucking week. I've been fucking fanging. I can't wait for other people to fucking play it. I'm very excited. I'm more hyped having played it than I was previously. Yeah, very excited.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Anything you want to plug this week, Joab, that either you've been working on or you're going to give a shout out to?
I guess a little while ago, I don't know how long ago now, last week, the week before, however long, I was talking about a Battlefield versus Call of Duty rivalry video that I wrote the script for IGN. That's gone live. Go and watch it. However it is you want to watch it. I think it's on YouTube and IGN.com. They actually did a really good job with I thought they were gonna, you know how it is. They always do something with your script. But I thought Max Scoville did a really good job with my scripts and executed it really well.
For the most part.
Some American, sorry?
For the most part. There was one
the
section
most
in
part,
there where I
yes.
felt like a joke sort of went over their head. The Fortnite joke.
Yeah. I thought that one could have been hit a little bit harder. I thought that was, But largely outside of that, I thought they did a really good job with it, which is awesome. So that's pretty good. Go to ozgames.com, check out my Rainbow Six Siege preview and my Elden Ring preview, or on my YouTube to watch my Elden Ring video preview. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
For me, you can go to Stevivor.com, check out my Battlefield 2042 review, and I think that's it at this point. We'll see. Jung, anything you want to plug for this week? Either you've been working on, or I don't know, a movie, a book, a film, or something you want to recommend to people?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or a game?
Yeah, I did some Kotaku stuff, but that's all a bit old now.
Yeah.
I'm working at Engine now, so I'll be making some content for Engine.
Engine. Explain Engine, Jung.
Engine is a company that makes developer tools for blockchain and NFTs. So they've been in the game for quite a while. I wrote about them a little bit back when I was at Fandom. I did a guide to gaming cryptocurrencies and different sort of blockchain related projects back at Fandom. Right. I did one story that was specifically about Engine, but I did one like wider guide that looked at all of them. And basically, if you go back to that article, the gist of it was that most of them were BS.
Right.
And a lot of them were full of hot air, and they were making these wild promises. But there was like 2 or 3 projects that I thought had legs, and Engine I thought was the strongest.
Cool.
And so I think they had the right ideas back then, and they've got the right ideas now. Obviously the landscape's changed, and so the ideas that they've got now are a little bit different. But even as far as like, 2018, I was like, these guys have the right idea. Back then it was more about developer adoption and making tools on Unity to make it easy for developers to do like one-click ads of NFTs and stuff like that. These days it's more about scalability, sustainability, stuff like that. So they're moving everything from Ethereum onto the Polkadot blockchain. They've got a new project called Efinity, which is going to be on a parachain on Polkadot. For those who know what the hell these words are.
No idea.
So Polkadot's going to be like a blockchain that bridges a bunch of blockchains together.
Right.
And Efinity is going to be one of those things that bridges onto it. And it's going to be highly scalable. So it'll be without a lot of the problems that the Ethereum stuff has. Like it'll be very low transfer fees, really fast transfer speed. It'll be a lot more sustainable for the environment. Efinity is going to be carbon neutral. And they already have a program called JumpNet where like all of the NFTs that were previously on Ethereum can now be on JumpNet. And JumpNet is, as of a little bit earlier this year, carbon negative. So I feel like it's a company that's like, it's sort of, NFTs get a lot of like negative sentiment in the gaming space right now, but that's because people have legitimate concerns about environment and energy usage and stuff like that. But I think there are some companies out there, and actually some of the best ones are in our region, for bringing NFTs towards where it needs to be with regards to like sustainability, scalability, and also just use cases. Because like a lot of people when they think NFTs, they think silly JPEGs of rocks and stuff.
Right click, save as, baby.
Yeah. But there are others like that's, artistic NFTs are very different to finance NFTs, are very different to gaming NFTs. So Engine just kind of like makes developer tools for people to build that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what I'll be doing. And
Awesome.
as for a good movie, go watch Pig.
Pig, fuck yeah. How good was Pig?
How good was that?
Holy shit. Luke didn't like it.
Didn't like
watched it.
Luke didn't like it. He hated it. He hated it.
I don't want to say anything other than that because I don't, and you can't talk about it without spoiling stuff. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Watch it, Luke. You fucking dog.
When I get time, yes.
Just do
all
it.
right.
Do it at 6.
Yeah, 2 at 6. All right, that is that's podcast for this week. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all places you get podcasts from. You can find us on Discord, thegapodcast.com/Discord. Jump in there. We're playing Battlefield this weekend for people that have early access. Don't buy it though in early access. I think is it on Game Pass early access, or how does that work? Does anyone know?
It's Game Pass early access. You get to play 10 hours.
Right. more than
out
enough.
of that. Yeah,
Even that's controlled.
it's more, it's more than we got to play for the review of
Yeah,
that.
it's more than we got to play. You can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com. You can check out past episodes on there, a bunch of content Job's put up. Are you putting a review up for this, Joab, or what's happening?
No, I'm not, because I'm writing a bunch of stuff for IGN on it.
Okay.
So.
Easy. You can also go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/the GA podcast, become a recurring member. Help us put the show on, keeps the website running, keeps the podcast going. Thank you to everyone that does that every month.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate your support. And that is it for this week. Jung, thanks for coming on. It's good to see you.
Thanks so much, Jung.
No worries. It was fun.
Awesome.
I had to talk about Elden Ring.
Oh,
I had to talk about it with you guys.
Fuck yeah. It would have just been me yapping the entire time. Like going, oh no, I can't say that. Oh, that's a spoiler.
Yeah. You know, it's probably a sign in itself that when someone plays a game like that and they're just so excited that they want to talk about it, that's probably like a sign in itself, right?
Yeah.
Usually they're the games, the ones you want to talk about. Yeah.
The other side of the horseshoe.
Oh yeah.
Where I was very excited to talk about Battlefield this week.
The horseshoe theory
to warn people
for different but similar reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much. You're always welcome to talk about whatever you want on here. You know that. So.
Yeah.
I'll hijack it. Make the Gap NFT podcast. I'm sure that'll go down super well in the gaming community.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Next week we talk about more Battlefield, obviously, and probably a few other things. Maybe get some more Vanguard in, and
for sure.
See if we can rotate in Satisfactory.
Got a game called Hermitage: Strange Case Files, which my brother told me to get, so I'm definitely gonna fucking hate. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you all next week.
See you
Love
later.
you. Bye.